that this
when
is
we've been talking about this for a few days, and yesterday, magnitude, and in a way, it's a of modern meteorology. Storm does not. We've got a lot of explaining. No, I will be. Matter of fact, I'll be on the weekend. The ingredients are cold air, a lot of humid air to the south, and then a tremendous amount of energy that is coming in the high atmosphere. So those, on paper, are all the ingredients, and everything from every indication is coming together for a classic and a monstrous East Coast snowstorm.
And regardless of how much snow we get, it's going to be a devastating storm, at least to the coastal areas.
That's right. The coast is going to be rain, but with the winds out there, it is going to be devastating. And folks say, when I talk about snowstorm of a lifetime, they say, yeah, I remember the Knickerbocker storm. Well, the last time we've had any really big snow was 10 years ago, when we had 17 inches, and this is what scenes looked like then. The Washington's greatest snowstorm ever, indeed, was the Knickerbocker storm, and that was named because of the tremendous loss of life at the Knickerbocker Theater because the snow was so wet and so heavy. This snow will start out dry, but then get progressively wet as the storm nears us, and those 28 inches, I don't think we're going to get those in Washington, but some areas will indeed get 28 inches. So it's that order of magnitude, certainly, of the storm. Here's what's happening, and let me show you what's going on in the atmosphere and take you back 24 hours, and you can see what's going on. Here's where we are in Washington, and do we have that up yet? There we go. Here we are in Washington, and here's the area to our south. This is the area where it's snowing right now. It's snowing on and off in southwestern parts of Virginia. Here's where the action really is in the atmosphere. Showers and thunder showers and heavy thunderstorms and heavy rain sweeping ashore from the Gulf. Winds down there up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. Can show you the origin of that storm. Again, here we are in Washington. Here's the moisture coming in. We've got the cold air firmly in place in over us with temperatures in the 30s and 20s to our north. So plenty of cold air. There's the warm, humid air. Dew point temperatures and air temperatures 70s and 60s. And here's the energy in the high atmosphere that will be a tremendous wave, if you will, that will tap all of that, bring that warm, humid air right up the coast. And as that happens, and we're on the west side of that with the cold air, we're literally dump tremendous quantities of moisture onto the cold air. That's the reason for the heavy snow. By this time tomorrow, I think the storm will be very, very near us. Then it will begin moving off. But with that tremendous intensity of the storm, the winds out in the beach areas will be upwards of 80 miles per hour. So storm warnings are flying. Tides will be 3 to 4 feet above normal, and unfortunately, it looks like the areas, as I mentioned yesterday, that were so devastated, Dewey and Rehoboth, will be catching it again. Look at the extent of warnings out all the way from Louisiana, and blizzard warnings out for a wide, wide area of our area. Here are the local warnings. Blizzard warnings roughly from the metropolitan area north and west out in the mountains. Winter storm warning more toward the east, because you folks out toward Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, there I think you will be seeing the mixture of snow. But even there, you'll be getting many inches of snow, upwards of 6 to 8 inches of snow, before even in southern Maryland, you see a changeover to the rain and the sleet and the snow. So for total accumulations, and all our weather watchers are reporting temperatures right now in 30s and 40s, by tomorrow morning, there'll be several inches of snow on the ground. Here's the rain-snow line coming in. By tomorrow afternoon, it will be raining out through the beach areas and down in the Tidewater area. That rain-snow line very, very close to Washington. That's the one big question. If enough warm, humid air comes in, it will change over the snow accumulations and the snows here in Washington. But as the storm intensifies, the winds, even in the backside of the storm, are going to be horrendous. So total accumulations, I expect here in the Washington area, east and south, 6 to 12 inches. But from the District of Columbia, north and west, Montgomery County, Fairfax County, especially out toward Loudoun, Frederick County, Prince William County, 12 to 24 inches, primarily all snow. Even where it mixes with some sleet, there will be accumulations of a foot. And then in the mountains, the Blue Ridge, more than 2 feet of snow is certainly possible from this storm. High tide tomorrow out at Ocean City will be at noon, and it's a mid-afternoon high tide along the Delaware beaches. So overnight tonight, look for some light snow coming in. The snow really won't pick up in intensity until very late tonight toward dawn tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, the peak of the storm from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And temperatures about 30 degrees indeed. Wherever you are at noon tomorrow, plan on being there for some time. Winds will be up to 60 to 70 miles per hour tomorrow night, even in back of the storm. And on Sunday, we'll still have some leftover snow squalls with some very, very high winds on Sunday. Winds on Sunday, 50 to 60 miles per hour, even here in Washington. Temperatures only in the 20s, so it's not going to go away either. It's going to be around a long time. We may be, if we get all snow right here in Washington, looking at a foot and a half of snow, and in many, many days to recover.
All right.
So a very, very serious storm. Don't want to scare everybody, but it is a very, very bad storm.
We need to be prepared.
And need to be prepared, and we'll keep you informed.
All right, thank you, Bob.
And on that subject, you will want to know the latest on the storm as it approaches us and as it hits us. We'll have the latest for you here on News 4 at 6 and 11 tonight. And then our special storm coverage will begin early tomorrow morning on News 4 Today. That begins at 6 a.m. And we'll continue to watch the storm all weekend long, so stay tuned to News 4 for the latest on that.
And we'll be back in a moment with new...
Had something to fear from this storm. It is the eastern shore. The coastal communities of Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware have been ravaged by two other nor'easters this winter. Now, with tourist season a little over a month away, possibly the biggest storm of the winter is approaching. Joining us by phone now is Rehoboth City Manager Greg Faris. Greg, tell us what you're expecting tonight and tomorrow.
Well, Doug, we're expecting 4 to 8 inches of snow tonight. High tide tomorrow around noon with wind velocity of anywhere between 50 and 75 miles an hour.
What does that mean for people who live right on the coast?
Well, people that live on the coast, we're in for, I think, a really bad storm tomorrow. We are anticipating a lot of beach erosion on the west side of our boardwalk, and also possibly some damage to our boardwalk, although we hope that does not occur. But when you have high tide at noon with wind velocity of that nature, we are going to have some damage here. There's no doubt about it.
I can imagine. How about evacuation plans? Are they in the offing?
There isn't any plans right now. There may be tomorrow morning, but at this time, no.
I know you've been hit, as I said, really hard previously this winter on two separate occasions. What is the condition of the beaches there right now, and what do you expect them to be by the time the tourist season comes around in late April?
Well, right now we're very vulnerable, Doug. We've lost about 5 feet of sand due to those two storms. We're hoping that by June we have the sand coming back. It was building up probably about a month ago, but then we lost it all last week when we had another nor'easter. And we're going to lose a lot more tomorrow. So hopefully by June, if we don't have any more storms, we will have sand back. But that's a hard question to answer right now.
Conditions of the boardwalks down there, are they intact right now?
Well, we've removed all lightweight objects from our boardwalk area. Our boardwalk's relatively new. As you're aware, in January of 1992, we lost about 3/4 of that boardwalk. So it is new. It's fastened down by hurricane straps. So we feel that it's going to withstand it. But if we do get the winds of that nature with high tide, we're going to have some problems, Doug. There's no doubt about it.
Greg, I know we have a lot of viewers on cable TV down there. What do you suggest they do tonight as the storm approaches, just for their own safekeeping?
Well, I would recommend that anything outside that's lightweight, that they bring it in immediately. And, you know, just stay tuned to TV and radio. And if there are evacuation centers opened up tomorrow, they'll be first to be notified.
All right, Greg Faris, I'm sure we'll be checking with you throughout the weekend. We hope you bear down okay.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Right.
Well, Bob Ryan's been telling us this could be the storm of a lifetime. So for our News 4 feedback report, we thought we'd ask some folk, what's been the biggest storm of your lifetime so far?
What's the worst snowstorm you remember?
Probably about 25 years ago, we had several feet of snow here. And I had someone snowed in at my house for 3 to 4 days. That was pretty awful.
That was back in Buffalo. That was the blizzard, you know, end of '77. I mean, that was the worst one I've ever seen. And if you've seen that, I think you've seen everything.
Around 1982, it was about 12 inches.
That was pretty bad?
I loved it.
I was a child when the Knickerbocker roof collapsed, and that was very bad.
By the way, the year the roof collapsed under the snow on the Knickerbocker Theater was back in 1922. So what about this time? What can we expect? We're going to go back to Bob Ryan in the Weather Center for the latest information. Bob?
Well, Susan, as I mentioned earlier, this storm has the makings of the magnitude of the Knickerbocker storm. We're going to see some light snow to start off with, but then it will be a heavy snow. And as we mentioned earlier, folks, especially around the metropolitan area and to the east, should expect possibly some power outages. A headline-making storm, our headlines, light snow tonight, don't worry about tonight, but it'll start to really come down tomorrow about dawn, and the peak of the storm, I think 9 to 9 tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour will be falling. The rain-snow line right up in and over us. That's the one question mark. If it moves farther to the west, it could diminish the amount of snow right here in Washington. But there'll be numerous power outages, down trees because of the high winds that by later on tomorrow will be up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. And obviously tremendous damage along the coast. There are the warnings that are out, storm warnings with coastal flood watches out all along the coast, a blizzard warning in effect for for our metropolitan area with lesser amounts of snow out to the east and the south. But folks should be prepared for about a foot of snow and upwards of 2 feet of snow or more out to the west, out toward the Blue Ridge in parts of western and northern Maryland. We will certainly keep you posted, but indeed, it looks like it will be an extremely serious and dangerous storm. Back to you.
All right, Bob, there are, of course, other things happening tonight. In other news, the
fun in the snow, but extremely careful. Certainly don't want to frighten anybody, but this is a very, very powerful storm coming our way. Be informed and be very careful tomorrow. And let me show you what's going on. This is a computer where we can show you the regional radar, and you can see those areas of green and yellow down there in the Gulf of Mexico, heavy thunderstorms which have fired up, and now some of that heavy rain is moving ashore, but the air is so cold that it's a mixture of rain and sleet even into northern Mississippi and northern Georgia. First snowflakes now in southwestern Virginia. We'll actually see some light snow overnight tonight, but look at the area that is under winter weather advisories. Those areas stretch all the way from the Gulf states, and a blizzard warning is the one thing there in red that you can see all the way up into New York State and New England because of the monumental nature of this storm. Along the coast, the winds by this time tomorrow could be up to 80 miles per hour, causing incredible problems along the coast. And even though we're going to be very, very near the rain-snow line, even where it does change over, you folks out there to the eastern shore, could be 6 inches of snow there with a mixture of snow, sleet, and rain. So for the next 7 days, here's what I see. Tomorrow, the tremendous storm with some mixture of sleet and snow, probably even here in Washington, but even downtown, potential for a foot of snow and 1 to 2 feet of snow for you folks living to the west and the north, especially out toward the Blue Ridge. And as you can see, it's going to be around a while with extremely high winds, by the way, tomorrow night on into Sunday, even early next week. It'll be sometime recovering from what everything indicates to me and to most other meteorologists will be a storm that will go down in history. Back to you.
All right, boss. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. Bob says it could be the storm of your lifetime. Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug McKelway, sitting in for Jim Vance.
And I'm Doreen Gensler. Our top story is our top storm, not only for this winter, but Bob Ryan says it could be the biggest snowstorm we've seen here in many years. We haven't had more than 6 inches of snow here in the past 5 years, but the storm bearing down on us right now could rival the big storm of 10 years ago, when Washington got buried under 17 inches of snow, or it could be even more than that. Bob Ryan is tracking this storm in the Weather Center now. Bob, when will it hit, and how much snow do you think it's going to bring?
During the peak of the storm will be tomorrow, and it has been indeed more than 5 years since we've had a 6-inch snowstorm. We've had some snows this winter that have been fairly easy. This one is not going to be easy. This will be making headlines. So let me share with you my headlines, meteorological headlines for this storm, which will be a tremendous storm from every indication. Tonight, just light snow moving in. Things shouldn't be bad if you go about your normal activities. But late tonight, it begins increasing, and a blizzard warning has been issued by my colleagues at the Weather Service for tomorrow because of the increasing amount of snow that will snow, I think, at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour between 9 in the morning and 9 at night, and increasing winds. Tremendous damage possible along the coast. But the key is the rain-snow line, and we're going to be right near that. So east and south, there may be a mixture of rain and sleet to keep accumulations down. Nonetheless, though, because it'll be a wet snow as it storm really powers up, and with winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, numerous power outages, down trees and down lines are certainly a likelihood. And even after it begins to move by, we'll feel the backlash with snow squalls and very, very high winds on Sunday. So take a look at the local warnings. Blizzard warning out for a wide area of Maryland and Virginia, even to the east where there will be that mixture. It's a winter storm warning, and you folks out to the east could see still 6 to 8 inches of snow and a storm warning with coastal flooding very, very serious out through the coast where tides will be running 4 to 5 feet above normal. Rain snow accumulations, here's what I think right now, 12 to 24 inches. That's right, 1 to 2 feet for much of the metropolitan area. East and south, even where there is a mixture of sleet and rain, you could see upwards of 6 to 12 inches. And in the mountains of the Blue Ridge and toward the Catoctons and spots like that, more than 2 feet of snow is certainly possible. A monstrous, very, very serious storm. I'll tell you all the details about it and many more things when I join you downstairs. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. So are we ready for all of this? The area's snow emergency crews say they definitely are. They've been checking plows and loading up trucks out at the Salt and Sand Depot on Seven Locks Road in Bethesda. State authorities say all plows, trucks, and 1,500 other pieces of equipment are set to go. And the Maryland State Police have canceled leaves and put everybody on standby. Virginia officials in Fairfax say nearly 1,000 road workers and 600 pieces of equipment are prepared to clear the roads in northern Virginia. So it's starting to get very serious out there. The Fairfax County Snow Emergency Plan goes into effect at this hour, and D.C.'s plan takes effect at 6:30. That means you have to move your car off any snow emergency route. If you plan to be doing any driving this weekend, Joe Krebs is in the newsroom now with some advice on that. Joe?
Doug, P-A-R-K-I-T. Park it is probably the best advice for what to do with your car, but not on a snow emergency route. If you do, it'll get towed. If you're going to drive, though, we have some tips from the National Weather Service and the spokesman for AAA Potomac. Rob, yes, the name's the same because we're brothers, Krebs. The National Weather Service warns that you check your heating system. Now, Rob says that really means check your cooling system. Make sure your car has enough coolant.
Well, the coolant is actually the fluid that runs through the engine to keep it cool. So the fluid gets really warm and holds the heat, and that's actually the same fluid that runs through your heater and warms your car.
The Weather Service says fill your gas tank.
You want to have enough gas in the car so that you can turn the engine on for 10 minutes for every hour that you're in the car to keep you warm if for some reason you're stuck someplace.
Have a flashlight with extra batteries.
If at night you're stuck, this is important so that you can wave somebody down.
Bring a blanket, food, and water.
I think that a hat is actually much more important because skiers and mountain climbers know that a hat will preserve 25% of your body heat.
But what about the food and the water?
That kind of thinking adds to the hysteria. If you feel that you're going to need food and water for your car, then you've got the mental frame of mind that is the exact kind of driver that should not be out there driving in this.
Now, some things you really should have, Rob Krebs says, are some kitty litter for traction, a snow shovel for snow drifts, a window scraper, and a proper sense of what to shop for.
The people who live here in Washington, D.C. are going out to buy food, water, and toilet paper. And the people who live in D.C. but they're from out of town, they're going out to buy videos, popcorn, and wine.
Videos, popcorn, and wine. Rob, Mom will be proud of you. The Weather Service also advises that if you should get stranded in your car, stay inside and run the engine to stay warm. But make sure the exhaust pipe is clear and crack the window for some fresh air. Doreen?
All right, good advice, Joe, from you and your brother. Well, a lot of traffic jams out there, and not necessarily on the roads, but in the supermarket and grocery store parking lots where folks are busy stocking up right now. Let's go live to Linda Lopez, who's over at a Bethesda shopping center. Linda, I can tell you that place was mobbed at about 10 o'clock this morning. How is it right now?
Things have not changed. I can tell you there are no such thing as express lanes here at this Westwood Giant store today. As you can see behind me, there are literally traffic jams with some of these shopping carts. We're told that people were actually waiting outside even before the doors opened at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's only gotten busier. Actually, twice as busy as it is on a regular Friday, we're told. There are here 22 checkout lanes. Usually on Fridays, they only have about 15 of them open. Today, all of them are open, and the lines in some of these checkout counters are actually extending out into the aisles because it's so busy. The general manager, Ron Edwards, has told us that he's been in the business 23 years, and he says that this could very well be one of the busiest days of his career. At this Giant store, they've been out of bananas for several hours, although I'm told tomorrow's shipment is on the way here now. And the store is sold out of fire logs. Those went out early this morning. There's no more flashlights, and the store's running low on batteries, orange juice, and other breakfast items such as cereal. Toilet paper is going fast, and clerks can't keep enough milk stacked up in the dairy section. The snowstorm proving profitable for area stores.
I have fruit and fresh vegetables, and I'm going to get some milk and bread and eggs. That will be it.
Stock up on food, mainly things that I like and she like, because she's expecting very soon, so we're getting a lot of things that us three want: baby, food, and my baby.
How bad has it been?
This has been the big one this year by far. You know, I think they're calling for 12 inches, I hear, or whatever, and it's just been real crowded since I first got here at 7 o'clock.
So what happened after that?
Well, we loaded up with, extra milk and bread and battened down the hatches, and we're semi-prepared because it is a Friday and we're ready for a good weekend anyway. But, of course, this is going to put a strain on any store, but we're doing the best we can with it.
And here at the Westwood Shopping Center, I can tell you I've been here for several hours and business has not slowed down one bit. We are told that they do not even expect to slow down for several hours. The next 4 hours, they say, are going to be very busy, very money-making for this giant store and, of course, for all grocery stores in the area. Linda Lopez reporting live from Bethesda.
Look at that line. And it was like that at 10 o'clock this morning, and I'm happy to report I got some of those bananas before they ran out.
They're out now.
And it wasn't easy. Well, there are steps that you can take to protect your home during a snowstorm like the one we're expecting. We'll tell you what the experts say.
But homeowners along the coast cannot do all that much to protect their homes. As Bob said, the storm is expected to take a huge chunk out of Maryland and Delaware beaches. For that part of the story, let's go live now to Wendy Reiger, who is stationed at Bethany Beach. Wendy?
Hi, Doug. I was just talking to a couple of the locals, and they say that their phones have been ringing off the hook from friends who live in the district or up in New York and own property down here and want them to go check on their homes and board them up just as a precaution. I'm standing on part of the boardwalk that you may remember was washed away in the storm last year. As you can see, it's nice and new, been rebuilt, could be missing again. You have no sense that a storm is coming here. The surf is surprisingly calm, and so are the people.
Pugliati brought his wife Louise to Bethany Beach to celebrate her birthday. But the storm's going to force the couple to do other things.
Stay in the room?
No, he's a baseball, football, basketball card crazy, and there's a shop in the mall where we're staying.
So we know what he's going to be doing.
He's got his day all figured out.
While the water gently laps the shore, work crews hurriedly board up windows, and as you can see, they have been very busy.
Water damage, with it being up on the pylons, does that help some? Help the water roll underneath it?
Well, we found out from our experience it's better if the water rolls completely under the building rather than having a bulkhead and it tears the floor up.
Yeah.
The year before last, we got extensive damage on that building, and they tore the floors out, the girder system's out, and we're just slowly getting it all back together now.
This is becoming routine for the beaches. In the past year, 2 major storms have moved through. The latest one came just 3 months ago. Locals are taking this one in stride.
When you get something like snow coming down here, it's something novel, and it brings people in, so that's what we can kind of hope for.
You know, I don't think it'll be as bad as they're predicting, hopefully.
Oh, well, now that you've said that, it's going to be horrible. You've just jinxed us all. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing 2.5 feet of snow and, you know, and some big breakers over the boardwalk.
2.5 feet of snow going to D.C., that's where that's going to be.
So I can tell you one thing, that having been through quite a number of storms like this over the years, including hurricanes, that we'll be here in the summer, the beach will be here, and so will I.
And we will be here throughout the weekend, and we will tell you what the damage is like when the storm hits. I'm Wendy Reiger in Bethany. Back to you, Doug.
All right, thank you. I'll take it, Wendy. We have some closings and cancellations we want to tell you about tonight. Montgomery County Schools Odyssey of the Mind competition that was supposed to happen tonight, it's been rescheduled for March 20th. The Rockville Test Center GED exams are rescheduled for next week. Tomorrow, the City of Alexandria's St. Patrick's Day Parade is canceled. It's rescheduled for March 20th. All Prince William County Public School activities are canceled tomorrow. Fairfax County's Criminal Justice Town Meeting is canceled tomorrow. It's rescheduled for March 20th. All Fairfax County Public School activities for tomorrow canceled. The Virginia State High School basketball tournament for tomorrow is canceled. It's rescheduled to March 15th. And we have been getting word of some other cancellations and postponements. The best advice we can give you is to check with your school or church or community group ahead of time to find out if activities for tonight and tomorrow are canceled.
And today, the National Weather Service issued some advice to people about how to prepare at your home. Joe Johns reports on some common sense reminders.
Shelley Hayes is a D.C. lawyer who keeps an office in her home. She doesn't understand all this hoopla over the weather. She grew up in western Pennsylvania, where she says snowstorms are a part of life.
30 years ago, it was not uncommon to get 18 inches of snow at one time.
Just the same, she says she wasn't writing off the weekend weather forecast. She got ahead of the rush and picked up some extra groceries, and then, just to make sure she could work at home this weekend, she called in a technician to service her computer. Common sense, thinking ahead.
And I was afraid the computer might go down and then I'd be stuck because he couldn't get here, so I made him come today.
Whether it's home, office, or both, common sense can make life easier in a big snowstorm. The National Weather Service says you need plenty of food and water, a radio, an extra source of heat, and a flashlight.
Somebody gave me a really fancy one. See, it has just about everything on it. You can turn it on that way to alert people. It flashes on and off. You can also turn it on to like the regular mode and you get light inside your house. Then you have this AM FM radio complete with an antenna that goes up. That's very important too. And if you're in real trouble, all you got to do is push this button here and you have a siren. A siren, check that out. About the only thing it doesn't have is a television.
And while you're at it, don't forget a first aid kit and some extra batteries for the radio and flashlight. Joe Johns, News 4 Washington.
Now, we have a lot more storm coverage still ahead for you. We'll have an update at 11 o'clock, and then tomorrow morning, tune in at 6 a.m. when our continuous coverage begins on News 4 Today. We'll just be all over this storm before and after it hits.
You know, we tend to be so sensitive about overdoing it on these storms, but this is a case where we're not overdoing it, I think.
So Bob says.
Yes.
Well, still to come tonight. We'll tell you how the closing of military bases across the country is affecting people in our area.
That my wife is skeptical.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard, you know, when you hear about the magnitude of this storm, and it's, you know, today was such a nice day, and we've heard about storms.
It doesn't feel like an approaching
And it doesn't feel like an approaching snowstorm, no winds, but I think 20 or 30 years ago, we really wouldn't be in a position to be talking about a storm of this magnitude with the advances that have been going on in modern meteorology. It's a bit of a test, too. If it doesn't come about, we've got a lot of explaining to do, but from everything that is gathering in the atmosphere and all of the information that I and all other meteorologists have been looking at, everything is pointing to a monumental storm, which is now beginning to develop down in the Gulf of Mexico. Take a look at the sky today. This on the anniversary, by the way, folks, of the famous blizzard of 1888. And you folks who may hail from parts of New York and New England, that's the blizzard of weather yore. In 1888, it was in March. And because of the dramatic temperature contrast that's possible in the atmosphere in March, we sometimes can get these tremendous storms. Just the high clouds, the first sign of that approaching moisture. Temperature today, 46 degrees and with light winds and the sunshine. Indeed, you said, how can it be a storm that we keep hearing about? The greatest snowstorm ever in Washington, the tragic Knickerbocker storm, 28 inches. In some areas, we'll see, I think, that accumulation principally well to our west and our north, though. 42 degrees right now in Washington. East-southeasterly wind, but even that's deceptive. We're going to see that wind in the north and northeast. Let me show you, first of all, one of the ingredients, the cold air. This is air that's very cold up to our north, more like January and February, right? That's what's setting up in the atmosphere, and yet here's springtime to the south. So look at the temperature contrast, even down in Georgia. Sleet right now in Atlanta. Take a look at the radar. At the same time, in the coast of Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, the temperature is 73 degrees and a lot of warm, humid air there. Here comes the moisture. Been heavy thunderstorms with winds to 60 miles per hour in the Gulf of Mexico, and now that surge of moisture, as you can see, coming in. Snowing right now in southwestern Virginia. Let me show you the cast of characters gathering in the atmosphere. Because of the cold, the very cold air to our north and this warm, humid air, there's going to be watches and warnings out, as you can see, all the way from the Gulf states, winter storm warnings out to our west, but principally in over us, on up into New York State, a blizzard warning. Here are the local warnings, and because of the increasing winds and tides that will be running 4 to 5 feet above normal out through the coast, as I mentioned yesterday, unfortunately, it looks like a devastating storm for the coast. Even around the bay, tides will be 3 to 4 feet above normal, and the blizzard, because of the snowfall that I think will be at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour at the height of the storm tomorrow, and then winds that will be up to 50 to 60 miles per hour, perhaps, even over us. So considerable blowing and drifting, especially out to the west. There's the rain-snow line, and as a result, just winter storm warnings issued by the Weather Service out to the east of the bay and then down to about the south of Fredericksburg. Let me show you what's going on and what will be happening in over us. Here we are in Washington tonight. Just the first band of light snow coming in. Then as the storm gathers strength, the snow will get moderate to heavy tomorrow, but that rain-snow line, as it draws in warm, humid air to our south, will come right by the Washington area. That's the one question. Exactly where will that rain-snow line be? I'm confident it'll be rain out to the east, but heavy snow to our west. We may see a period of sleet and rain even here in Washington, but even with that, there'll be tremendous accumulations, and even after the storm moves by, there'll be winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour tomorrow night and Sunday, so it's not going to end real rapidly. With that in mind, let me show you what will be happening. Here we are in Washington. This is the cloudiness, and you can see the storm beginning to come our way. First, those high clouds, then watch as the day has progressed, the cluster of thunderstorms and all of that energy really beginning to get tapped now down to our south. Because at the high levels of the atmosphere, here's this wave which, from every indication, will become a tremendous wave and really draw that energy, the contrast between the cold to the north, the warm and humid air to the south, up the coast, forming this tremendous East Coast snowstorm, one of the largest ever on record. And as it intensifies, the pressure may reach record low levels, all of which will mean that the winds will increase dramatically and rapidly later on tonight and during the day tomorrow from the east and the northeast. That's the reason there'll be so much damage, I'm afraid, along the coast. And even then, it'll be slow to move off. Behind it, we'll be feeling the effects right on into Monday. And it will be, I'm afraid, several days before we can really recover. And especially with those winds, there'll be numerous power lines down with the wet snow that will be at the peak of the storm. Overnight tonight, though, just light snow developing. First few flakes could fall at 8, 9 o'clock. Even a little bit showing up on radar now, but not reaching the ground. But tomorrow, the storm really picks up in intensity. I think the intense time from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, where it could snow at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour. Indeed, a blizzard warning because of the tremendous quantity of snow coming, and then the winds. There'll be considerable blowing and drifting and near whiteout conditions. As I said, after about noon tomorrow, don't expect on going any place for some time. Be prepared to be where you are for a long time after noon. Then the snow will be tapering off, but still strong winds tomorrow night, which will blow and drift. Winds could be up to 40 to 50 miles per hour, even here in Washington. And on Sunday, no great break, because while we won't be seeing as much snow, we'll still see snow squalls, but the high winds and temperatures only about 25 degrees. A true blizzard's shaping up. For the next 7 days, it'll be really, I think, early next week before we can begin to recover if everything comes about. Bear in mind that rain-snow line is so critical. By Tuesday, temperatures will be in the 40s. Here's the total accumulation that I expect, upwards of 2 feet and more out of the mountains of West Virginia, right here in the Washington metropolitan area. 12 to, in some spots, over 12 inches, a bit less than that out to the east, Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County, Charles County, spots like that. The rain-snow line, very, very critical, and we'll keep posted on that. Be here with you throughout the weekend, by the way.
And aside from that rain-snow line, is there anything that could happen in the next 12 hours or so to
diminish the intensity?
Yeah.
No, it looks like it's almost a guarantee of having a major storm. The one iffy part is the rain-snow line. A tremendous storm with a lot of moisture. If it brings in a lot of the ocean air, we could diminish the accumulation because of more rain and more sleet. But even there, it would be at least 8 inches of heavy, heavy wet snow with power outages. And again, later on tonight, we'll have an update, and myself, Tom, and the rest of all the meteorologists upstairs will be here with you throughout the weekend, starting early tomorrow morning.
It sounds like we'll be counting on you.
We'll keep you informed. We'll keep you informed.
All right, as long as our TVs work.
All right.
Well, up next, is it
Let me show you about the last 8 hours, and you can see it moving our way. It's snowing now in southwestern Virginia. That snow will be light to start off, but increase in intensity. So here's what I expect for the total accumulations in the metropolitan area: 6 to as much as 24 inches, the heavier amounts west and north, lesser amounts to the east and the south. But indeed, a tremendous storm, a lot of damage in the coast, and an incredible amount of snow, sleet, and rain out to the east and the south. But 1 to 2 feet looks likely.
All right, thank you. More from Bob at 11. Well, the most famous car in Gotham City is parked in our city tonight. Not
only did she sneak over a boy,
it's the night before what's forecast to be a miserable blizzard, and as you can see from this live picture in northwest D.C., it has started snowing in Washington. Good evening. I'm Doreen Gensler. Jim has picked a pretty good night to be off tonight. Let's get the latest forecast now from Bob Ryan. Bob, it's just kind of a gentle, light snowfall at this point. It doesn't look too ominous right now.
Doreen, though, just to our south, the snow is picking up in intensity, and it will snow very hard. This is still going to be an extremely dangerous major East Coast storm. Here are the storm headlines that we have put together for you right now. Overnight tonight, the snow will be increasing. There is still a blizzard warning in effect tomorrow. We, for a time, will still see 1 to 2 inches of snow falling per hour. But the changes that are coming in now, and looking at some of the very latest information coming in, begin to indicate that because of the power of this storm, it may track just a little bit more to the west of what I earlier thought. So now I'm thinking that the rain-snow line will be just to the west of the Washington, Baltimore, Fredericksburg line. But nonetheless, because of a prolonged period of wet snow, even though it may change and mix with some sleet and rain, there'll be likely numerous power outages, trees down, and extremely high winds, an awful lot of damage along the coast. Here are the local warnings that are still up. A blizzard warning still in effect for us from the Weather Service. Winter storm warnings to the east, and the storm warnings continue all along the coast. Tides will be running 4 to 5 feet above normal. I think we still will be expecting in many areas up to a foot of snow, but those areas which will be seeing the mixture of rain and sleet, the accumulations will be a bit less than I earlier thought. Late data is coming in right now, and we'll give you the very, very latest in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, we'll check back with you in a moment. And again, I can tell you there's a very light snow falling out here right now, almost a wet, rain-like kind of snow. People all over the area have been making preparations for the storm that is in the forecast, probably making some preparations at your house. Salt and sand trucks in the area are ready and loaded for bear. News 4's Linda Lopez is standing by live in Rockville, Maryland with the latest on those preparations. Linda, you've gone from the grocery store to the salt depot today.
I've been all over looking for the action tonight, and Doreen, I can tell you that I have certainly found it. Now, right now I'm standing by at the Bethesda Depot here in Montgomery County. Montgomery County has become the latest jurisdiction to go under a snow emergency plan, and that just happened moments ago. Now, if the weather is an indication, as you can see, we do have some snow coming down, just probably like it is in your area, Doreen. These trucks will soon be ready to hit the roads. Earlier today, crews around the area loaded up salt trucks and prepared the plows for action. Tonight, all eyes are on the weather station.
Baltimore, Washington, New York City, and the Boston area, all under a blizzard warning.
At the PG County Office of Emergency Preparedness, officials are at the ready.
Basically, we can plot where we need shelters.
Everyone preparing for the worst.
I don't remember one that we've had since I've been doing it that they've described this way coming in, so we'll have to see what happens.
Here a computer printout shows some high schools designated as shelters in Prince George's County. That's in case the storm causes massive power outages, a remote but real possibility. In grocery stores across the area, this late season snowstorm added up to big bucks. This giant store in Bethesda twice as busy today as any regular Friday. Long lines and empty shelves, a testament to that. Many stores reportedly ran out of fire logs, flashlights, batteries, even toilet paper, eggs, milk, bread, other hot-selling items today.
Stock up on food, mainly things that I like.
And there's one more piece of equipment that may prove very valuable this weekend.
Most important, you should have a radio or a portable radio with batteries in case the power goes down, so you have some line of communication with what's going on.
And right here at the Bethesda Depot, some of the trucks are already being started, getting revved up to hit the roads. Again, Montgomery County now under a snow emergency plan. D.C. and Fairfax County have been under one since early this evening, and Arlington County will go under one at midnight tonight. Now that, of course, means a reminder to those of you in the area, don't park on the snow emergency routes. Your car will be towed. Also, you're encouraged to stay home this storm over this weekend, but if you do have to get out, make sure you have snow tires or at least chains on your tires, and that's only if you do have to get out. And one more note, utility companies have scheduled extra crews to be on the roads tonight. Maryland State Police has called in hundreds of additional troopers, and Virginia and D.C. both have extra manpower on standby. I'm Linda Lopez reporting live from the Bethesda Depot.
Thank you, Linda. Back live in Northwest Washington now. Linda mentioned briefly some driving tips. The National Weather Service has some winter driving tips for you. News 4's Joe Krebs ran them by Rob Krebs from the AAA. If those names sound similar, they are. Joe and Rob are brothers. First, Joe.
The National Weather Service warns that you check your heating system. Now, Rob says that really means check your cooling system. Make sure your car has enough coolant.
Well, the coolant is actually the fluid that runs through the engine to keep it cool. So the fluid gets really warm and holds the heat, and that's actually the same fluid that runs through your heater and warms your car.
The Weather Service says fill your gas tank.
You want to have enough gas in the car so that you can turn the engine on for 10 minutes for every hour that you're in the car to keep you warm if for some reason you're stuck someplace.
Have a flashlight with extra batteries.
If at night you're stuck, this is important so that you can wave somebody down.
Bring a blanket, food, and water.
I think that a hat is actually much more important because skiers and mountain climbers know that a hat will preserve 25% of your body heat.
But what about the food and the water?
That kind of thinking adds to the hysteria. If you feel that you're going to need food and water for your car, then you've got the mental frame of mind that is the exact kind of driver that should not be out there driving in this.
Now, some things you really should have, Rob Krebs says, are some kitty litter for traction, a snow shovel for snow drifts, a window scraper, and a proper sense of what to shop for.
The people who live here in Washington, D.C. are going out to buy food, water, and toilet paper. And the people who live in D.C. but they're from out of town, they're going out to buy videos, popcorn, and wine.
Well, if you miss out on the videos, popcorn, and wine and happen to get stranded in your car, the Weather Service advises that you run your engine for at least 10 minutes every hour to stay warm, that you check your exhaust to make sure it's clear, and crack the window ever so often to make sure you get some fresh air. Good luck. Joe Krebs, News 4, Washington.
Well, as much as we are preparing for the storm here in the Washington area, this thing could be much, much worse out on the eastern shore. They'll have higher winds and high tides on top of all of the other problems we've been talking about tonight. They've already battened down the hatches there. Let's check in live tonight with News 4's Wendy Reiger. She is at Rehoboth Beach. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Doreen. You know, it's something of a typical winter night here at the beach. The wind has picked up some. There aren't a whole lot of people here, and the few people that are here are pretty much going about their business. They have heard all of the warnings of snow, rain, flooding, high winds, but believe it or not, many of them are not impressed. They say they will believe it when they see it.
The streets are empty, the hotels are empty, and the residents are skeptical. They say this is going to be the storm of the century.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Excuse me, is that a keg?
Well, yes, this is a keg.
Do you know that the storm of the century is heading this way?
Yes, this is how we wait out storms in Rehoboth. We get kegs and we sit around and enjoy the wind.
They appear to be cavalier, but that's because the people who live along the Delmarva Peninsula are no strangers to storms. Their coast has been pounded twice in the past year, and it's always survived.
Having been through quite a number of storms like this over the years, including hurricanes, that we'll be here in the summer. The beach will be here, and so will I.
This couple from Silver Spring came here to celebrate a birthday weekend and is going to be hiding from the storm.
Stay in the room.
No, he's a baseball, football, basketball card crazy, and there's a shop in the mall where we're staying.
So we know what he's going to be doing.
He's got his day all figured out.
And there's at least one person here who's actually looking forward to it.
And I want to be on the beach drinking a bottle of champagne. Let it come.
You're going to be on the beach with a bottle of champagne watching the storm?
Absolutely.
The police say they have no plans for evacuations. They do have contingency plans if it's needed, but again, they say they will wait and see what happens. High tide is noon tomorrow, and we'll be here. I'm Wendy Reiger reporting live from Rehoboth. Back to you, Doreen.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. Well, besides watching the snowfall, and by the way, it does seem to be picking up momentum a little bit out here. Besides watching the snowfall, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot to do in our area this weekend. The list of cancellations is very long, and it's growing. So here is the very best advice we can give you on that tonight. If you're supposed to be somewhere tomorrow, or if you're planning to go somewhere, we suggest that you call ahead to the organization or the group planning whatever event you're going to, because it would be a mistake to head out otherwise. There are a lot of cancellations. Also, we want to let you know that the Channel 4 News and Weather departments will be all over coverage of this storm tomorrow and the effects of it. We will have continuous storm coverage starting first thing tomorrow morning on News 4 today at 6, and we will stay on the air as long as the storm warrants. In the meantime, I'm going to go back inside in a moment for a look at the rest of this day's news. We'll tell you about another courthouse shootout today, this one in New York. Also ahead, there are developments in the Waco cult standoff. We'll tell you about some more members coming out of that cult compound. And ahead in sports, the Tar Heels show the Terps.
Snow line, as we've been talking about, is always so difficult and fickle here, and the late indications coming in. The storm is actually getting stronger faster, which means, though, that as that happens, it's already drawing up some milder air along the coast. The reason that there are some slight indications that that rain-snow line tomorrow will be a bit to our west, which will tend to keep accumulations down here in Washington. There you can see outside what it looks like right now. Snow is beginning to increase in intensity, and it will be a wet snow. Matter of fact, it's actually because of the lower levels of the atmosphere have been mild for a time, mixed with a little rain, but we're still in for a sizable snow. Temperature for a high today made it up when we were seeing that sunshine, and folks were saying it doesn't feel like snow. 46 degrees, our greatest snow, 28 inches, folks, the Knickerbocker storm. I don't think we're going to see that here in Washington, but some of you folks watching right now, especially out to the west toward the Blue Ridge, will see that amount of snow. 36 degrees, light southeasterly wind. That will become northeasterly later on tonight during the day tomorrow. Let me show you what's going on. First of all, the temperatures, cold air, a lot of cold air to our north while we're in the 30s, and look at the warm air to the south. That's the temperature contrast. That's the energy source for the storm. Let me show you the radar, and you can get an idea of that area of rain that is snow that is coming our way. Here we are. It has been rain, heavy rains, more than 2 inches of rain, a tremendous amount of moisture and energy coming in. As a matter of fact, tornado watch out for the entire state of Florida until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's now where the snow has moved up. Look at where the areas that are under winter storm advisories and watches throughout the entire east, all the way from parts of Louisiana that are under warnings up to West Virginia. Can we see that? And a blizzard warning is still out for much of the metropolitan area, where there will be the changeover to sleet and rain as tomorrow progresses. Winter storm warnings are out. But this will be a tremendous storm for the coast, and unfortunately it looks like a disastrous storm. As I mentioned yesterday, tides will be 4 to 5 feet above normal. Winds may approach 80 to 90 miles per hour, higher than hurricane force winds all along the coast from the east and the northeast because of the intensity and literally the explosive development of this storm. And there's the area of a blizzard warning. Let me show you what's going on and take you back, and you can see that area of cloudiness moving in on us. Again, here we are in Washington. And you get a sense for the tremendous amount of moisture that is being thrown up as a huge wave literally in the atmosphere dips down and taps this Gulf moisture, where air temperatures are in the 70s and dew point temperatures are in the 60s. There's the storm right now in the Gulf. And as this turns around, it's going to throw a lot of moisture in, but also mild air up along the East Coast. So for the outer banks of the Carolinas, it'll be rain, and much of the eastern shore will be rain. We will be right on the edge of the rain-snow line, but because of the intensity of the storm, strong northeasterly winds. And even after it moves by tomorrow night and Sunday, fierce north to northwesterly winds will be raking us. So overnight tonight, here's my forecast now. For us tonight, for the remainder of the night, the snow increasing. It has already developed, and it will be increasing with temperatures, though, 25 to 30 degrees. Not quite as cold as I earlier thought, but the northeasterly winds picking up. Tomorrow, the snow and the winds increase. We will, I think, see a changeover here in Washington now to at least a mixture of rain and sleet and snow, which will keep the accumulations down downtown. But still, it looks like all snow or snow mixed with sleet only at times through the western and the northern suburbs. Temperatures tomorrow 30 to 35, still increasing winds. Tomorrow night, while the storm slowly moves by, the precipitation will change back to snow, slowly decrease, but the winds will be even worse tomorrow night on into Sunday. Winds will be 40 to 50 miles per hour, even here in Washington on Sunday, with some leftover snow squalls. Here's the rain-snow area and the accumulations that I think we're in for. For us here in the Washington area, 6 to 12 inches of snow, sleet, and a changeover to rain, but it still looks like 12 to 24 inches for you folks, northern Montgomery County, Frederick County, on into western Fairfax and Loudoun County, and the mountain areas. Some areas out in the Blue Ridge are looking at, I think, 3 feet of snow. Those are the areas that will get really devastated by this, and also along the coast because of the fierce winds. The next 7 days, we will still be feeling the effects of this storm, as I said, on Sunday and even on into Monday, although temperatures will recover and will begin to recover. So again, a total accumulation downtown right now, I think still expecting the order of about 8 inches, but it looks a bit more that we will see the changeover to rain and sleet as tomorrow progresses, perhaps beginning about noontime right here in Washington. But up until noon, still an awful lot of snow, and as I said before, plan on being wherever you are at noon and staying there. This is still going to be a very, very bad storm.
And is the wind the reason this is a blizzard warning and not just a storm warning?
The wind and the intensity of the snow. Out to the west, temperatures will be in the 20s. And we'll be here bright and early tomorrow morning, and keep you posted, folks, throughout the weekend. So all of us upstairs, and I'll be in early tomorrow morning. Dave Jones will be in at the crack of dawn starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning and throughout the day. And as long as this storm lasts and you need the information, we'll be here.
All right, we're counting on you, Bob. Thank you. There is sports ahead tonight.
Standing, no problem. It's this part of the boardwalk that we're on. It's about 3 blocks north of the town of Bethany, the little shopping district. This is the part that was washed out a year ago. The problem they're saying this year is that with this will be the 3rd storm that they've had. It has washed away much of the dunes that provide a protective blockade for the real estate, and it's washed away a lot of the beach. So this storm could really be a monster and do some damage out here. But so far, as you can see, nothing yet. The water is starting to creep up to the boardwalk. The wind is picking up about 10 miles an hour just in the last hour or so. And we'll stay out here and see how it gets. So far, we don't have any, there's no evacuation plans. The people here say when you live by the water, you get used to dealing with the ocean's various personalities, even when it gets overzealous as it is now. I do not hear you. I've lost my audio contact with you. Now I have it. That's the situation here.
Wendy, you mentioned evacuations. Are people going on their own, or are you the only one out there? Got any sightseers around?
There were sightseers here earlier, yesterday. A lot of people came down here because this was going to be a very big weekend. St. Patrick's Day Parade is supposed to be today. Obviously, it was canceled. This, in some ways, is something of an unofficial opening for the beach, I guess especially for people in Delaware. So there were people here who were intent on staying. Storms can be interesting, entertaining in their own way as long as they don't become dangerous. This one at this point is not dangerous. The police say they have no plans as yet to evacuate anyone. The people here are very hardy folks. They don't tend to want to leave. They're used to this. And we were just having breakfast this morning at the Reunion restaurant, those of you who are familiar with Bethany, and it was open, and there was about 6, 7 people in there. And hang on a second, I have to brace myself. And they said they're going to stay open. They have even had people in there when there was 6 inches of water on the floor. And he said he's going to have a coffee brewing, and they're going to be open if anyone needs to come in.
What's the precip down there? Is that all rain that we're seeing, or is that a mixture down there, sleet too, Wendy?
I'm sorry, tell me again.
What's the precip? What's falling down there? Is it all snow, sleet, or rain?
It started out as snow overnight. They got about 1 inch of snow, but it changed into kind of a messy, miserable sleet, as I was telling you, at 6 o'clock this morning. Now it just seems to be wind and kind of a wet rain. Although the wind is so strong, it's interesting, you don't even feel the rain because the wind is sort of upstaging it.
Boy.
I would imagine visibility is not very good either.
Well, actually, let's see. I don't know how much the camera can pick up. We're looking straight into the ocean now, which is looking fairly dramatic. And the visibility is actually pretty good. I can see down the boardwalk. Let's look this way. That's heading into the town of Bethany. There's a clock for those of you who know it as a landmark. Actually, visibility is pretty good at this point. I'm sorry, what?
Is it tough to keep your balance out there, Wendy?
Yeah.
It looks it.
At times, it is. And again, the wind, it's amazing how much the wind has picked up just in the last hour. It was, we were able to stand here, Harry Davis, my cameraman, and I were able to stand here without much problem. And then suddenly, right before we went on the air, you could feel it picking up. When I asked Harry, how's this going to go? And he said, it's going to be a blast. You were right, Harry.
He knew what he was talking about.
Harry was right indeed. Wendy, can you just tell us briefly, and then we're going to let you go because it's almost painful to watch. It's blowing so hard out there. Can you tell us how high the wave action is out there behind you?
Oh, you know, I came from Virginia Beach where I used to date surfers, and I'll be darned if I can tell you what this is. What's it look like to you guys out there? What do you think?
It looks like a surfer's dream, you're right.
Well, or a nightmare.
Or
I don't know if there's a wetsuit thick enough to withstand this.
All right.
Wendy Reiger, you take care of yourself out there. We'll be checking back with you throughout the day. Wendy Reiger, live in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. We appreciate that live report. That gives you a taste of how things are shaking out there for sure.
It does. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get a weather report right now, and I believe Dave Jones is standing by in the weather office. And if he is, Dave, can you give us an idea of what kind of winds Wendy was facing?
Well, you've got 2 for 1 now.
Oh, good.
Wow.
What a deal.
Dave has been doing yeoman service since early this morning, being here at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we've got now 2, and Tom Kieran has just come in. So we, the entire Channel 4 weather team, will be here throughout the duration of the storm to keep everybody informed and of everybody informed of what's going on. Those pictures, Dave, of Wendy, really dramatic, and think that the storm center is still down in South Carolina. and the time of high tide is still a number of hours away, so the waves and the seas will continue to build out along the coast, reaching probably 70 to 80 miles per hour out through the coast. So the worst is yet to come. We're seeing the snow right here in Northwest pick up, and that rain-snow line has been tantalizingly close down in extreme southern Maryland. There's a changeover, but we're still in for a number of hours, I think, of heavy snow, Dave.
It is. I think so too, Bob. And with the rain-snow line staying just to the south and to the east of us, I think with the next batch of heavy precip, we'll show you in just a minute at the Doppler.
Let me show you the radar loop first of all. I'll go over our graphics, and we're doing everything as we're sharing it with you, and you can see the. This is over about the last 12 to 18 hours, and you can see the power of that storm. Those greens are areas of moderate to heavy precipitation, and we're getting banding, and it's banding that's very, very similar, really, to a tropical system, a hurricane, because this storm has indeed the power of a hurricane, and in many respects is more powerful than most hurricanes. So what we're going to be seeing is that type of structure too, where we'll get these surges of moisture coming in. And I know a lot of folks, when they see the snow coming down and then hear the rumble of thunder, it's very, very disconcerting, because you associate, of course, thunderstorms with the summertime. But that's the type of situation you get with so much convection going on. And the blizzard warnings and the coastal flood warnings and watches are still in effect, Dave.
That's right, Bob. The blizzard warnings are going to continue in effect throughout the day today as the snow continues to move through Washington, and heavy at times as well. Moderate to heavy snow happening right now in downtown Washington. Let me show you the Doppler radar and what the structure in the atmosphere looks like. South and east of that red line that's passing through all about Patuxent River over into just southern portions of Delaware, there's heavy rain and heavy ice pellets, which is sleet, and some heavy snow just moving into the southeastern neighborhoods of the Washington area. You can see areas of green and yellow, which are moving to the northwest. And typical of that banding structure Bob just talked about that is going to move through the Washington area, we should be in some of the most intense snowfall that we've had so far today as that continues to move to the north and to the west. Some of the snow totals that have been reported from our weather watchers, 9 inches, perhaps even 10 or 11 inches now in parts of Gaithersburg, and in portions of southern Maryland, Floyd, Able, and Hollywood has about 5 inches of snow with some heavier rain and some sleet falling as well.
And down there to the south, though, it has gone over to rain. It still looks like right here in the Washington metropolitan area, we're going to see a period of mixed rain and sleet during the middle part of the day, that rain-snow line right on the edge of us. But I want to emphasize for the folks to the west who are watching us out toward Front Royal, Winchester, Frederick County, western Loudoun County, it looks like it probably will not go over to sleet and rain there. And the spots with this tremendous amount of moisture, almost, again, a tropical, probably some areas conservatively, 36 inches of snow and 12 inches in just a matter of a few hours. So I think we're still looking at roughly probably a good bet is a foot of snow here in the metropolitan area, even with the rain and sleet mixed in, lesser amounts east and south, and maybe a foot and a half in the suburbs.
And be prepared, too, to see some potential for some thunder as well. We've had some reports in Montgomery County of some thunder snows, and as this next heavy band of precip moves through, we may even see some more thunder snows.
And the winds are really increasing. That's the thing with Doppler radar. We can see the winds, and the winds a couple thousand feet up are now up to 40 to 50 miles per hour, and that those high winds gradually work their way to the surface. So be prepared for possibly power outages, of course, with this wet snow. Then tonight, really no break. We'll get the backlash, so the mixture will change back to snow 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and we'll be right back into some very heavy snow and winds tonight, 50 to 60 miles per hour, and even tomorrow. Still feeling the effects of what is a record-breaking storm. We've got long, long time to go. We'll be here with you through the duration as the rain-snow line tantalizingly close to Washington, and we'll keep you posted throughout and Dave will be here for a while and then get a break. But one way or the other, we got you covered. Back to you.
I'd say we're in good hands.
Yeah, the
Bob,
gang's
Dave,
all
and Tom.
there.
You said it. Fully staffed up there in our News 4 Weather Center.
Yeah, we're going to be here. We're going to stick around. We'll bring you the latest information coming up on weather and traffic and cancellations and the whole bit. We'll be back in just a moment as our special edition of News 4 Today continues.
Overstock clearance sale. Collector's art season is ending, and this Sunday we must sell out over 2,000 beautiful oil paintings at $45 or less. Giant sofa-size oils, $45. Incredible. In addition to these paintings, hundreds of our gallery oils like you see here at unbelievably low prices. Don't miss the incredible savings at our Overstock clearance sale. It's Collector's Art this Sunday only 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Springfield at the Best Western Springfield Inn, in Tyson's Corner at the Holiday Inn, in New Carrollton at the Sheridan, and in Gaithersburg at the Holiday Inn.
Get the Spartan Man, 24-hour drain service.
Plumbing problems.
Get the Spartan Man.
Heating problems.
Get the Spartan Man.
Air conditioning problems.
Get the Spartan Man.
Quality work, reasonable prices. Spartan Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. 29 years serving Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
Hans Fischer tested a lot of imports.
Well, we drove the Maxima, the Camry, the Accord, and the Mazda 626.
But he chose Taurus.
Although I'm as patriotic as the next man, I want value for my money, and if it means buying Japanese, that's what I'm going to do. The experience with the Ford has convinced me that that's not necessary.
Now you can own America's best-selling car, Ford Taurus, with all this and more for $15,677, and that's before you make your best deal.
We'll go back to buying a Ford time and time again.
Mel Bamel's family has been selling umbrellas and casual furniture for over 106 years. Today, the finest lines in pool and patio furniture, as well as wicker and rattan, and including such famous names as Woodard, Grofleck, Samsonite, and Lloyd Flanders, are available for immediate delivery.
At Bamel's.
Bamel's integrity, experience, and dedication to the best quality at the best price provide a unique shopping opportunity available only
at Bamel's,
where the best is always surprisingly affordable.
Come see the newest and the most celebrated champions of all time in the Campbell Soups 1993 tour of World Figure Skating Champions. Babylonian Gardner, Victor Petrenko, the Dujanets, Nancy Kerrigan, Mish Kutanak and Demetria, Brian Boitano, Torval and Dean, Jill Trenery, Klimova and Ponomarenko, Scott Davis, and many more, as Tom Collins presents the greatest figure skaters in the world.
Coming April 23rd to the Capitol Center. Visit Ticketmaster or call 202-432-SEAT.
Welcome back, everyone, and we're continuing now with our team coverage of this violent winter storm. Yeah,
Joe Johns is in Tyson's Corner, as we understand it, or nearby Tyson's Corner. Barely holding on there. It's not as windy as the beach, but you look like you've got a heck of a lot more snow out there, Joe.
Yeah, I sure do. It's a heck of a lot more cold, I think, although, you know, who knows? We're right outside a Holiday Inn out here. We're not too far from Tyson's Corner Shopping Mall. And inside this Holiday Inn are 200 high school students who came here to see this area. They're not getting to see this area. Right behind me here are some of the tour buses that were supposed to take them around to the different monuments. Well, the tour buses are still sitting here, and the students are still inside the hotel. Things are not working out too well for this bunch. They came here from South Carolina, from Massachusetts, from Kansas City, looking forward to official Washington, looking forward to taking a peek at all the different monuments, having a fine time. So far, the people who drive the tour buses and so forth have told us they haven't been able to find anything for those students to do. The reason is that everything's closed right now. Many of the students, though, told me that they got to see some of the other things just yesterday, the day before, and they're not too upset. They say they got to see the Arlington Cemetery and so forth, and they're pretty happy just to sit inside and eat snacks and talk to their friends.
Going to go to Vietnam, and we're going to do all the memorials. That was our day's plan.
So how about making a snowman now?
Hey, but we do that at home. We don't want to do that now.
Where are you from?
South Carolina.
You see much snow like this in South Carolina?
No.
I'm from Minnesota, but I did not bring this weather. I promise I did not.
Well, one of the students I talked to who was from Massachusetts was a little bit skeptical about all this. She said that this kind of snow is no big deal where she comes from, but, you know, I told her what Bob Ryan and others have been saying. I told her you haven't seen anything yet, so just stick around and you'll see what a real blizzard is, or that's what they're saying. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Looks like they're doing okay, though. They have food and a warm place to stay, so you can't beat that.
Quite a day for a field trip, though.
Ooh, it'll be one to talk about, though. They will have a story when they go back to South Carolina.
history lesson, because this is a history-making storm, as we've been saying. Storm of the century, some people have been saying this morning. Right now, we're going to be going to metro traffic now, and our friend
Jerry Edwards. Good morning again, Jerry.
Kathy and Jim, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have been informed that because of the high volume of snow that is falling on I-95 between Baltimore and Washington, it's down to just one travel lane in either direction. Again, on 95 between the Capitol Beltway and the Baltimore Beltway, down to one lane in either direction. That seems to be the case pretty much around most of the metropolitan area. Crews are out trying to keep at least one travel lane open each direction on the major roadways, on the Beltway in 95, 66, and 270. Also, police have asked us to ask you, unless you have a true emergency, please don't dial 911. They're getting a lot of calls that could be handled in another situation in another time. So again, use 911 only in the emergencies. We are now receiving reports of power outages, particularly Northern Virginia seems to be getting hit. Also just under 2,000, we understand, in Montgomery County without power, and some up in Anne Arundel County. As far as the roads go, they're lousy. Don't even try it. Back to you.
A number sure to rise with those power outages. Jerry Edwards, thank you for another update for us this morning.
Right now, we want to go to our friends at WTOP Radio, and Karen Gray Houston is standing by with the latest information on closings. Good morning.
Good morning. And as you might imagine, we are getting hundreds and hundreds of closings coming into the WTOP computerized cancellation center. The Montgomery County Public Schools are canceling all school and community activities for today and for tonight. Fairfax County government programs, events, and classes are all canceled. Falls Church City Schools are canceling all activities in their schools today. All branches of the Montgomery County Department of Public Libraries are closed. The University of the District of Columbia is closed today. Goddard Dance Club, scheduled for tomorrow, has been canceled. The Mall in Columbia is closed today. Temple Shalom in Chevy Chase, all those activities there are canceled. The Montgomery County Solid Waste Transfer Station will be closed effective today and will remain closed until Monday morning. Cedar Lane Psychotherapy Services canceled. The National Building Museum in Washington is closed today. The Corcoran School of Art closed today and tomorrow. The Corcoran Gallery closed today only. That's just a few of the notices. Stay tuned. We will keep you updated.
All right. Thank you very much, Karen Gray Houston, live from WTOP Radio this morning. It looks as busy as it is here.
It certainly does. And keep it indoors is the best advice we can give you, and keep it right here as long as you have power, because we're going to be here throughout the day and night for you here on News 4. We'll be right back with more team coverage. This is News 4 Today.
This is a lot of bills, and this is just a few bills, especially with prices even lower than this during the winter sales event at your Washington area Honda dealers.
Don't buy a new home without New Homes Guide.
I didn't even know those homes were there.
Make the right decision. Call today for your free copy of New Homes Guide.
At America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses, price is more important than ever. Patients get 2 pair of eyeglasses or a pair of daily wear soft contacts for $49.99, and that includes the eye exam. We will beat any legitimate advertised price, period. That's 2 pair of eyeglasses complete or daily wear soft contacts, including the eye exam, for $49.99 only at America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Call now.
With all this beauty, it's hardly surprising that the sun spends so much time in Florida, Hawaii, and California, where right now, Alamo is offering a great low rate on an economy car. And with Alamo's unlimited free mileage, you can spend more time warming up in a place that feels like summer, even when it isn't.
I'm an active person, and when nagging pain slows me down, I go to Yalich Clinic. I recommend chiropractic care at Yalich Clinic to everyone because I trust them. With over 20 locations, the doctors at Yalich Clinic can treat nearly any physical pain.
Come to Yalich Clinic, feeling good again.
Suffering from nagging pain? Here's a special offer. For a limited time only, visit the Yalich Clinic near you for a free consultation.
This is a lot of bread. And this is just a little bread. especially with prices even lower than this during the winter sales event at your Washington area Honda dealers.
Welcome back, everyone. Our live coverage of the winter storm continues. If you're just waking up, look out the window. It's been falling steadily since about 11 o'clock last night.
And have a look out now while you still can before a whiteout out there. Well, if you'd like to escape this mess, still too late or too early maybe to get a plane, you think?
I don't know.
A lot of folks are trying. They're out there at Dulles, we know, this morning.
And so is our own Julie Carey. She joins us now live with the latest. Good morning, Julie.
Well, a few of them are still successfully boarding flights and getting out of town. Some of them headed for skiing destinations, others for the beach. We wish we were headed there right now. As if you were with me before, the lines were much thicker. Things have thinned out here, and people are making it onto flights here at Dulles. They are keeping one of their 2 runways open while they plow the other runway. Things are a little different over at National this morning, however. Since 8 o'clock, National Airport has not had any flights going out or coming in. They're trying to catch up with this snow and get the runway cleared, but they've been unsuccessful in getting ahead of it so far. Joining me now is Tara Hamilton. She's the spokesperson for the Airport Authority, which oversees both those airports. The status of National right now?
Yes, the runways were closed at 8, so we could clear them. The snow is just accumulating too quickly for us to keep them clear the way they need to be. Our snow crews and mechanics, everyone's been here all night long. We're here for the duration, but we're really trying to keep up with the snow. So until further notice, the runways are closed at National. The airport's open. The runways, however, are closed for clearing. We urge people to check with their airlines. It's very dynamic. We're getting reports by the minute about potential cancellations.
You're faring a little bit better here at Dulles, and we'll see some of the videotape coming up here of the plows out this morning, and of course there was de-icing going on. How long do you think you'll be able to stay open here?
Well, we'll do the best we can. We do have constant activity on the runways at both airports. Here at Dulles, we're fortunate we have 2 parallel runways. So we're basically spending a great deal of time on one, clearing it while we keep the other open. As long as we can, we're going to continue that switching back and forth. But the real key is the accumulation of snow, how fast and how quickly it's accumulating. What's on the roadway is falling on our runways, and we have to keep them even clearer than the roadways.
Tara, thanks for joining us. And as we've mentioned throughout the morning, Northwest Airlines has already canceled all of its morning flights at both airports. Afternoon flights will be pending the condition of the runway, so people should check with their reservation agents. We understand, too, that United Airlines is canceling a number of its flights right now. And if you could read the board at Delta behind me, they have canceled many of their flights to Atlanta and even some to Florida today because of the bad weather down there. So word to the wise is check in with the reservations desk before you go anywhere today. Reporting live from Dulles, Julie Carey, News 4.
All right, Julie, thank you for that live report. Once again, we'll be checking back with you a little later. I'm surprised people are even showing up at the airport this late.
Well, we keep hearing that people are actually having more trouble getting from their homes and hotels to the airport than they are having getting out of the airport once they get there. So again, be very careful on the roads.
There's some easy tips we want to give you this morning. Excuse me, I know that we're going to be going indoors on ways that you can stay safe in a blizzard, Kathy.
Yeah, it's as simple as gathering some of the things that you probably have lying around the house. However, before driving, check a heating system. Check your heating system to make sure everything is all right. You also need to make sure that your gas tank is full. If you do get stranded, you may need to turn on and off your car to stay warm. If you are stranded, stay inside your car. That is the most important thing to do. Run your motor for 10 minutes per hour. That will keep you warm inside your car. Also, open a window to get some of the fresh air coming in. Hopefully you're bundled up enough to stay warm. Just a few tips in case you get stranded. Clear the exhaust pipe, very important in an emergency situation. Exercise your arms and legs to get the blood flowing, very important to do. Don't forget to do that. Don't fall asleep. Try to keep moving, and if you have any kind of a bright article to have out the window, something that can attract some attention, you know, or even a flashlight that you can shine when the conditions you can't see, something to attract attention, but stay with your car. And it's so important to stress that, because if you get outside, it's really, really cold out there.
You're in some deep trouble. You said it, Kathy. Coming up next with you, we're going to head back out to the beach and Wendy Reiger. We're also going to be heading upstairs once again to Bob Ryan, holding down the fort for us.
We'll be right back with our special coverage in just a moment.
The doctor said to use hydrocortisone cream for my itch.
Try Preparation H hydrocortisone cream to effectively relieve problem itch.
It worked great, and I didn't need a prescription.
Preparation H hydrocortisone cream, prescription strength without a prescription.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes fast when speed counts. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
My new baby. It was my first time and I was nervous. I wanted her to have the best of everything. So I really did my homework. And there I was, Jiffy Lube. The most intense training program in the industry. The best oil and filters you can buy. No one else even comes close. Jiffy Lube. My baby gets the very best.
In your hands, there's nothing to it. Total Crafts helps you do it for the creative enthusiast. No place is into crafts more than Total Crafts.
Total Crafts is your #1 source for all your craft supplies. Framing, floral arrangements, and so much more. Let your hands be creative with the ideas on display at Total Crafts.
No place is into crafts more than Total Crafts.
And no place saves you more on picture framing, too.
Jimmy and Chris for Nuprin.
Jimmy, relax. Have some fun.
Who says I'm not having fun?
You can't go on forever.
Want to bet?
Admit it. Sometimes it hurts.
Ooh. So I Nup it. Nup it. And it's gone.
I Nup it too.
Nuprin works for me.
It's strong medicine.
So Chris, ever notice that some people know how to stay in shape?
Why, thank you, Jimmy.
Nup it. For body, joint, or muscle pain, Nuprin, the body pain medicine.
Freddie Mac, the idea behind 1 in 8 American homes, is proud to sponsor Wednesday's Child. Together, we can reach out to help the children of our community find caring and loving homes. Maybe your home.
And now we're going to check back with Wendy Reiger for a quick update on the storm near the shore. Some of the most amazing video we've seen yet this morning. In fact, viewers are calling in right now.
They're worried about you,
Yeah,
Wendy.
we can see why, too. Wendy, how's it going out there?
Hi, I came down from the boardwalk. We're here in Bethany because I understand our camera does not have the same kind of ocular range as the human eye. This is a lot of foam here. The water is still about 15 feet behind me from the boardwalk. The wind is terrific. It's about 50 miles per hour and gusting a lot stronger than that. To my right, your left. Harry, can you look at this building over here this way? The other side of this condo here, the whole other side, you can't see it, is the siding has been peeled away, and that's because between this condo and the other one is creating something of a wind tunnel. So that whole side has been peeled off. That's the only damage we've seen. I don't think the wind is strong enough to do much more than that because these structures are built to be pretty sturdy. The problem that the locals are saying with this storm is that there was another storm here back in December, and that washed away a lot of the protective dunes, and they haven't had time to totally replenish it. Plus the beach had been washed away. All that provides something of a barrier which is not going to be there, so they're a lot more vulnerable. So far, this storm right now is aggressive, but it hasn't gotten to the point of being destructive. Again, this is foam. As you can see, it's deceptive. It looks like the water is coming up, which is why I wanted to come down here, but this is just the foam that is blowing off. So the water has not gotten up to the boardwalk yet. It is still about 20 feet behind me when it comes up, washes up on the shoreline. The locals are not evacuating. There's a small group of winter people here now, and they say that they're going to stick it out until they absolutely have to leave. I'm Wendy Reiger reporting live from Bethany. Back to you.
A number of viewers have been calling in to make sure that she is okay, so we don't want her to put herself in any danger, but as she mentioned, it seems she's having not as hard a time standing anymore as she was up on the boardwalk.
Exactly, but Bob Ryan just mentioned that high tide is still just 3 hours away. We've got to go. The folks there where Wendy Reiger was live, we'll be checking back with her a little bit later on, and we're just now getting in some phone calls from Pepco. We understand it, Kathy, 1,500 out in Montgomery County. You've got some Virginia numbers too, I believe.
10,000 right now from Virginia. These are people without power. We had talked about this earlier, the problem. We have this happen occasionally when we get snow, but because the streets are so bad, it might be difficult, if not impossible, for crews to get out there and repair that. So, you know, do the best you can. That's all we can say, and take care.
Right, and you've got to wonder, Bob Ryan is up here now joining us. Can you tell us, Bob, with these outages so far, are they wind-related or snow-related, or when will we start seeing more outages?
The snow, when it first was down, as you know, the winds were light, so we had a wet snow pileup. Now the winds are increasing, so it's really a combination. The winds from here on in will continue to increase. We'll see winds 40, maybe 50 miles an hour by this afternoon. So a lot of blowing, and the snow intensity is increasing right now. We're seeing, as I mentioned earlier, this banding structure, and folks say it's almost like a hurricane. Indeed it is. It's the equivalent of a winter hurricane and more powerful than most hurricanes. That's how powerful. This is a storm really of an unprecedented power as far as winter storms are concerned. The center is still down off South Carolina.
Wow.
So we are still almost 1,000 miles away from the storm center.
Is this a slow-moving storm as winter storms go?
As it's intensifying, it tends to slow down. It's not going to race by. The center of it still won't be to our east until later on tonight, along about 9 or 10 o'clock. So we've got to go through that. As enough mild air comes in, we will be seeing periods of sleet and rain. But where it doesn't change over, and there's the picture from out at Rehoboth. Again, remember, about 3 hours from now is when high tide, and the winds that will continue and the seas will continue to build out there. And probably at the time when the storm is at its most intense, late this afternoon, I would expect winds out there of about 80 miles per hour. I'm going to go over and show you a little bit about what's been going on. And let's go to our graphics, and I think you can see the radar. I can show you the radar in time lapse as we've gone back and watched this storm come in. What we're seeing is
Bob, you need your mic on. It's not on.
Okay, there we are. Now it's better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Get all of the weather straight, and then you forget the little click and the little switch on the microphone. These are shots, as you can see, out of the beach areas, and the seas and the water will continue to rise there. As I mentioned, high tide still 3 hours away. So it still looks like it will be a devastating storm along the coast. Here we are in Washington. This is about the last 18 hours as the snow has come in. These yellows and the greens are where the heart of the storm are, and you can see that moisture now really sweeping up and over us and beginning to pile in, really pile into us with the temperatures that we have right now near freezing. That will continue. We'll be continuing to see the moderate to occasionally heavy and very heavy periods of snow. Snow will be falling at the rate of 1 to occasionally as much as 3 inches an hour. Here's the storm center itself. You can get an idea of that tremendous circulation. Let's go to the other graphics, and this is the NEXRAD True Doppler that I can show you, and you can get an idea for the detail and structure of the storm. About here we are in Washington. All of these yellows and the dark greens are areas of moderate to heavy snow. And many of our weather watchers are reporting thunder snows, and I know that's a bit disconcerting. Here we are in the middle of this snowstorm, and you hear the rumble of thunder, but there's so much convection and so much energy in this storm that it indeed produces thunder snows. And when that happens, 3 inches of snow can fall in just a matter of an hour or so. And that's not all. You can also get a feel for the winds. Let me go over here and show you some of our weather watcher reports. And with a storm like this, getting reports from our network of observers is so critical. Temperatures to our north, up around Gaithersburg, 28 degrees. I think roughly from a Gaithersburg to Leesburg out to Front Royal line, that will be the line. I don't think that we'll see any mixture west of that line. So you folks around Leesburg, out to Front Royal, with the snow that already in some spots is approaching a foot, and yet we've still got another good 12 hours to go of this heavy snow. You in many areas will be looking at 3 feet of snow out here, western Loudoun County, Clark County, and also Frederick and even northern Montgomery County. Up around Sugarloaf, spots like that, looks likely 3 feet of snow. Obviously, with 40, 50 mile per hour winds, the drifts will be monumental, 6 to 10 foot drifts. Right here in the Washington metropolitan area, I think we're going to be seeing that sleet and sometimes rain mixture. But even so, we'll only see that for a number of hours. Looking at some of the late numbers coming in, it looks like the storm will be tracking just to our south, perhaps right up through Chesapeake Bay or near the Annapolis area. Then after it begins moving by, after about 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we'll get into the backlash. The cold air will come right back, so we'll see the changeover again to snow. We could see another 5 or 6 inches of snow tonight. That's not all. The winds will be at their worst tonight from the west, probably 40 to 50 miles per hour. So a foot of snow right here in Washington looks very, very likely. Lesser amounts out toward the east, Annapolis, and hearing from our weather watchers to the south, down around White Plains and Lusby. Right now it is a mixture of some sleet and also rain. Rain pretty much the story now in southern Maryland. Let me show you what's been going on. Take you back in time. Here we are in Washington. Watch this powerful, powerful, unprecedented storm roar up the East Coast. Right now the snows have moved all the way up into New York State and New England, and those areas also looking at well over a foot of snow. So this is a paralyzing storm. There you can see where the storm center is in the line of severe thunderstorms stretching out into the ocean. So we've got many, many hours yet to come. The forecast for overnight, during the daytime hours, moderate to heavy snow coming down at the rate of between 1 to as much as 3 inches an hour. But we will see the mixture here in Washington with some rain and sleet mixed in from about noontime to 5 or 6 o'clock from time to time. Let's go up to Dave up in the Weather Center, and we can also see a little bit more of the forecast of what's going on. Overnight tonight, as the storm slowly moves by, we will see the winds turn more into the west and northwest, but they'll still be 40 to 50 miles per hour. And as I mentioned, we may see another 4 or 5 inches of snow as the storm slowly moves by. And even tomorrow, we're not out of the woods, because while the storm will be north of us, the winds will continue to howl of 40 to 50 miles per hour. A true blizzard. Blizzard warnings, again, remain out for the remainder of the day, and we'll certainly keep you posted as each hour comes in, and hourly observations and hourly reports throughout the day. But the best advice I can give you right now is stay put. As I said yesterday, wherever you are at noon, plan on being there for a long time, and that still holds true. Back to you.
Bob, thanks. Let's take a look quickly outside. We can show you where the blizzard warnings are in effect right now. We do have blizzard warnings in effect for the Washington metro area and points to the north and to the west. Some of our weather watchers reporting in. We have Mary Schneider in Hyattstown has 7 inches of snow on the ground and still snowing there. It's snowing just about everywhere around the Washington area. And as Bob showed on the Doppler, we have some strong echoes moving towards the Washington area where we should have some moderate to heavy snows. It's snowing moderately right here at the forecast office now, and the winds are gusting up to 39 miles per hour from the east-northeast. The projected snow forecast, it looks like 6 to 12 inches from Washington south and east, with a mixture of sleet at times. But as that precipitation gets heavier, it looks like it's turning into more snow, and we'll see some more thunder snows as well, moving towards the Washington area and to the north and to the west through Montgomery County, parts of Loudoun County and Fairfax County as well. We'll be here all day updating you on the situation. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Our entire News 4 weather team here tracking the storm. So once again, we will continue to bring you live coverage. We have a travel update now. At last check, there were no problems with Amtrak in the Washington area. The train service in and out of Washington is running normally, and a large force of workers are on duty keeping those tracks clear. They've been there throughout the night. They are still there this morning. However, there are reports of delays in Florida because of the massive flooding that you've seen. We've been reporting that here on News 4. As for the Metro Rail opened on time this morning and reports no delays, but Metro Bus is restricted to major arteries. People planning on riding Metro should call this number, 202-637-7000. Once again, that is 202-637-7000 for any information on Metro.
And right now we're going to shift gears and go back shopping to the supermarket. And Jim Nash, he's at a Giant in Northwest. Is it crowded? Are the shelves still stocked?
The shelves are still stocked, Jim, but let me just tell you, the weather has really picked up. We're going to take a peek out the window there. That's what it looks like in the parking lot. 45 minutes ago when we talked, as you know, it had stopped snowing. Now it is really snowing outside, and inside it's all hands on deck. They've had a lot of clerks had difficulty getting here this morning, but now they've got about 10 check stands open, and people are shopping for bread, milk, eggs, meat, and all kinds of basic staples. All right, so it's busy, and the shelves are full so far. Jim, Kathy?
All right, thank you very much, Jim. That is good news. Well, we're going to be back in just a moment. Our live coverage will continue throughout the morning. When we come back, we'll have the latest cancellations.
And we're also going to update you on where the power is out. You're watching News 4 Today.
Inches. It's now raining in Oxford, Maryland. So that continues to move, but very, very slowly. And we're seeing these pulses of moderate to heavy snow. General amounts now in the order of 6 to 9 inches. Out at Chester Gap, our first report of a foot. 12 inches, that's out below Skyline Drive. Annapolis, 7.5 inches of snow even in Annapolis. And Potomac, all our weather watchers reporting in with 9 inches. Right here in Northwest Washington, as you can see, our temperature is 31 degrees. We've had winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour, and the winds will continue to increase. Take a look at, first of all, we can show you the radar, the regional radar. and I can show you where the area is of rain. That's the local radar, and you can see those dark blues and the yellows to our south. That's probably the rain-snow line right to our south. Let's take a look at the other graphics, and you can show you the area that is, you can see the extent of the snow now all the way through Pennsylvania, southern New England. Those greens are the areas that are getting the moderate to heavy snow. But the other effect also is the wind, and the winds will continue to increase along the coast. There are the temperatures right in Washington, 33. It's raining to our south in Richmond and the Norfolk area, but to the west, you folks out toward the Blue Ridge, there you can see where the temperatures are in the 20s. So there's the area still under the warnings. We are still in a blizzard warning. That is for sure, and that will continue. That means winds 40, 50 miles per hour, considerable blowing and drifting, and it still looks very, very likely that accumulations where it remains all snow will be in the order of 2 to, in some of the high spots, 3 feet. Right here in Washington, we have to expect upwards of 1 foot to 1.5 feet of snow in the western and the northern suburbs, a bit less for the immediate eastern and southern suburbs. Even though we will see a period of sleet and rain, we'll still see it turn back to snow tonight, and still with winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour. So we've still got about 12 more hours of this ferocious storm at least. Back to you.
Doppler is just amazing. That's I think the largest system I have ever seen.
It's a tremendous area, and the Doppler, the key is that we can actually see the winds and see where these pulses of moisture are coming in. So we'll have an updated Doppler when we join you next time.
Thank you much.
Bob, thank you. Well, as we reach the 10 o'clock hour, we want to let you know we are going to be staying on the air here at News 4 to keep you updated on Bob Ryan's weather. We're going to be checking on beach erosion, travel plans at the airports, also traffic out there with our news.
That rain-snow line and what the exact course of that will be, but expect the conditions to continue to be extremely serious and just get even worse as we go through the latter part of the morning and in the afternoon. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. We'll certainly check back with you in just a moment. Right now, as you can imagine, there are a number of cancellations, almost everything, but for the latest, let's go ahead and go to WTOP Radio and Karen Gray, Houston. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. Our WTOP computerized cancellation center has a seemingly endless list of what's been postponed, what's closed, what's canceled. Both National and Dulles airports are shut down until further notice. The University of the District of Columbia is closed today. The D.C. taxi cab snow emergency that was declared yesterday has been extended until tomorrow morning. The mall in Columbia is closed today. Wheaton Plaza is closed. Montgomery Mall has been closed with the exception of the Hex and Nordstrom stores, which have yet to make a decision. I don't know what they're waiting for. Georgetown Hospital officials say they need drivers with four-wheel drive vehicles to bring personnel in for the afternoon or evening shift. You can call 784-4215 or 4216. Montgomery County Solid Waste Transfer Station will be closed effective today and will remain closed until Monday morning. The Good Counsel High School in Wheaton, Maryland, freshman registration.
Really feel it when the wind picks up. It really stings your face. Now, right here we're at the intersection of Route 355 and Montgomery Village Avenue, and there have been regular appearances in this intersection by the plows and the salt and sand trucks. So they're doing their job, it seems, and the traffic is here and it is moving. It's very light, of course, as you can imagine, but the job is getting done, although we still recommend that you not go out unless you have to. Now, one who had to is our own Jack Clority, who has shown up here at the Holiday Inn in Gaithersburg wearing a natty red attire.
That's right, my snowsuit.
You snowsuit. You came up 270. What was that like at the
270 was bad. It really was, Joe. You know how sometimes you get slush when people travel it, but nobody was traveling it, not many people at least, so you still had hard-packed snow. We only saw 2 plows. I think the plows are just overwhelmed. Anybody who was out there in a small car without four-wheel drive, they were on the side of the road with their flashers on. We saw a Geo and cars like that. They just were not making it. The only people who were making it through were people in four-wheel drives.
Okay, so heed the advice. Probably the best thing to do with your car at a time like this is park it. Leave it in your driveway, in your garage, and don't take it out. Here in the Gaithersburg area, there's really no reason to be out. For those of you who are Saturday shoppers, the Lake Forest Mall, just very close to here, was scheduled to have an enormous sale today, but of course Lake Forest is closed. So if you can stay home, do. Joe Krebs reporting live with Jack Clority from Gaithersburg.
All right, thank you very much. You guys try to stay warm. Right now we're going to join Bob Ryan. He is upstairs and he has some of his weather watchers on the telephone. Hi, Bob.
Hello. It's a busy day, obviously, here. We're mixing with the sleet and with the snow. accumulations been, while we actually have a little bit of a lull, believe it or not, what's outside right now, folks, is a little bit of a lull. I think if you take a look at the radar, you can see that this is, take a look at our the live radar. This is out of Patuxent River, and you can see that that band that was through here with the intense sleet that we had about an hour ago has now moved well to our north, and we've had reports from our weather watchers in northern Montgomery County of sleet and snow mixed in there too. But we're going to be seeing that for the next few hours. Right here in northwest Washington, we've got the mixture of sleet and snow. So while we're in a little bit of a respite here, but there's indications of more heavy stuff to come. Take a look at the, let's switch to the other graphics, our graphics 11, and I think you can see the Doppler. There we are. There we are in Washington, and that's where the star is. There's that band, and this is just in from the Weather Service Doppler radar, which, by the way, is detecting at 1,000 to 2,000 feet up hurricane-force winds. So as this storm continues to intensify, some of those winds will get transported down to the surface. So it's entirely possible that there could be brief wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour. There's that band that shows up so much better in northern Maryland. That's the intense sleet that you folks probably up in Carroll County are experiencing now. We're in the middle with just a mixture of snow and sleet, but then look to the south, more intense precipitation to come in. So as the afternoon goes on, and here is the last 18 hours, you can see it moving up. As the afternoon goes on, that's what we're going to continue to see. Periods of sleet, periods of snow, and to our south, you folks in southern Maryland, believe it or not, getting away fairly easy with very, very heavy rains there and winds that are up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. Our weather watchers, which have been keeping us informed, are really critical with a storm of this magnitude to let us know what's going on. Bill Wolf, our weather watcher, who's up in Smithsburg outside of Hagerstown, has reported 12 inches of snow. Bill, are you on the line?
Yes. Hi, Bob.
How are things up there? This you're right about on the Washington County line, are you not?
Right. I'm closer to Foxville than I am Smithsburg, up on the mountain. And right now we are having extreme snowfall up here right now. It's the hardest I've ever seen it snow. We have whiteout conditions up here, 23 degrees. And winds are gusting between 50 and 70 miles per hour.
And really, conditions, that's a true blizzard, and you've got, what, about a foot of snow on the ground there, right?
I would say at least 12 to 15 inches at least. As far as I can tell, it's almost impossible to measure.
Conditions, that's right. Well, and also you hardly want to venture out. This is in the area of Hagerstown, so you folks up there, of course, as we've been talking about, catching the worst of it because up there it's going to remain probably all snow. Bill, have you seen any sleet mix in with the storm at all there?
No, it's been just pure snow here.
Okay, well, thanks for keeping us posted, and we'll be checking back with you. You probably, by the way, are in for upwards of 2 to 3 feet of snow, and I know it'll be quite a while before recovery can be up there. Also joining us, our weather watcher outside of Front Royal, High Knob. A lot of folks love the mountains. Joe Mitchell lives out around Front Royal. Joe, are you with us?
I sure am, Bill. Bob.
Okay, how are things out there from your vantage point in the Front Royal High Knob area? Are you seeing a lot of sleet now?
We had some sleet about an hour ago, but it's
the forecast one.
It's mostly. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's mostly snow now, and the sleet has stopped. We've got in excess of 2 feet in drifts, and probably 12 to 15 if I could really measure it.
How about your winds? You're really exposed there, and the mountain areas are really exposed. Have you lost power?
Believe it or not, we have only had gusts to 20 miles an hour. So for some reason, we're not getting the winds that you're getting elsewhere. I don't know why. Maybe because it's coming from the east, and I'm on the northwest side of the mountain.
Well, you're in the Cull, and you're protected a little bit,
I think
perhaps.
so. I'm right by the ski lodge, the Cherokee Ski Lodge, which is, of course, closed down this year.
Well, thanks for keeping us posted. And also out there, I think, Joe, now that it's gone back to snow is an indication that the cold air is already beginning to come back into this storm. So that's what we're seeing right now in Washington. Over the next few hours, all through the metropolitan area, we're going to be seeing this boundary and this intensity reflecting the sleet and snow mixture. But then later on this afternoon and this evening, it will all go back to snow, and we could see many more inches of snow. That coupled with the winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, just making, as you heard in many areas, for instance, up where Bill Wolf was, whiteout. Take one last look quickly at what I expect for the accumulations on our graphics 11, and you can see I'm expecting in those areas where it's all snow, 24 to 36 inches of snow. The rain, snow, sleet mixture here, eastern and southern suburbs, limiting it to 6 to 12 inches. Northwest Washington, I expect upwards of 12 to 24 inches of snow when it's all said and done. And it's not going to be a rapid recovery, because tonight winds will be still 40 to 50 miles per hour and lingering snow squalls tomorrow. Needless to say, we'll be here during the duration, all of the entire meteorological staff keeping you posted, and so stay with us and we'll keep you posted and keep you informed. Back to you.
All right, we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you much, Bob. We're coming up on the noon hour now, so you might want to grab something to eat out of the refrigerator. We're going to stay right here to keep you informed, start all over, bring you the latest information in just one moment.
Here in the Washington area. I'm Doreen Gensler with Pat Lawson Muse, and we are replacing now Jim Hanley and Kathy Vera, who just finished about 7.5 hours. It was time for a break, I think.
Session, yeah. A storm that's stranded a lot of people. It has literally paralyzed this area. Bob Ryan and company are in our News 4 Weather Center following the track of this storm. Bob, we understand we still have not seen the worst of this.
Well, we have. I mean, it's not going to get any worse than it is right now. We're still seeing these pulses of very heavy sleet and also winds come in, and we still have several more hours. I think as we get through about 5 o'clock, we'll begin to see that pattern wind down a bit. But the winds are going to be staying with us overnight and during the day tomorrow, too. To update you on accumulations, around a foot roughly in the northern and western suburbs, downtown, down around National, not as much, 6 or 7 inches, but the snows have been moved all the way up into New York City now, about 7 or 8 inches up in New York City. The winds have been phenomenal, and winds at Hagerstown Airport were to 56 miles per hour, and now Interstate 70 has been closed between Frederick and Hancock, and Interstate 68 is closed between Hancock to just west of Cumberland. Also, a lot of folks have called in with thunder reports, and as we get these, we just hear some thunder outside now. Let me show you what's been going on. Take you back, and you can see that storm. And the storm center itself right now is near Raleigh-Durham, and it's beginning to move up the coast. You can see that we are still under those bright clouds, so we're still under some intense storminess. Here's the Doppler radar, and for the first time we can begin to see the back edge of some of that heavier precipitation, but there still is some surges to come of moderate to heavy sleet and also snow. And then as the storm begins to move up the bay later on this evening, we'll see the backlash with northwesterly winds. So needless to say, blizzard warning still in effect, and out at the coast now that we're past the time of high tide, while there's still a storm warning, there won't be quite the coastal flooding, but there still could be problems at the time of high tide. Total accumulations to the west and the north, 12 to 24 inches for you folks in the suburbs there. Out toward the Blue Ridge, up to 24 to 36 inches. Again, as these surges come through, as they will for the next few hours, there will be numerous power outages, and winds will still be up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. So while we're beginning to see some respites come in, it certainly is not over, and this is about what we're going to be continuing for the next few hours. Back to you.
Bob, as I've been watching you this morning and now into the afternoon, I've been hearing you talk about the center of this storm, and now it's in Raleigh-Durham. What does that mean for us? I mean, does that mean that as the center gets closer to us, it's going to pick up in intensity, or no, does it mean not really anything?
The storm is so huge, and the circulation now extends all the way up into New England that even though the center comes near us, and it is very similar to a hurricane, but the intensity won't get that much more than it is right now. But the storm is continuing to intensify, that is, grow stronger. One effect, folks who have arthritis and sensitive joints, the pressures have been falling so fast that there are probably a lot of folks out there with aches and pains due to the sudden and dramatic drop of pressure with such an intense storm. We'll probably, by the way, be setting a record for the lowest atmospheric pressure ever recorded here in Washington. Those records have been set to our south, along with snowfall records in Tennessee and many other spots like that. But while the storm comes up, it'll probably come right up through Chesapeake Bay, just to our east, and that will be occurring about, I'd say, between 7 to 9 o'clock tonight. And once that passes, then we will see the intensity of the precipitation certainly taper off, but the winds will, because it's so wound up, the winds will be as ferocious tonight as they are right now.
And Bob, that precipitation will continue to be snow, a mixture of sleet and snow, freezing rain?
A mixture of sleet and snow right here in Washington, more snow farther to the west and the north, and more sleet and rain to the east and the south. Southern Maryland has had only 4 or 5 inches of snow, and it's all rain now. And Richmond is still all rain. Its ground is bare down at Richmond, and for instance, down at Norfolk, the temperature almost 60 degrees, while here we are in northwest Washington, temperature 31 degrees with a mixture of snow and sleet. Next couple of hours, 2-3 hours, we even here in Washington will see this mixture of snow and sleet go back over to all snow and give us another 2 or 3 inches before it really tapers off tonight.
All right.
That's that rain-snow line that Bob has been talking about for several days now. That's the difference that it can make. Well, we heard Bob mention some road closings, some interstate closings. We have some more information for you on that right now. We have live on the telephone Corporal Scott McCauley with the Maryland State Police. Have I got that correct, Corporal?
Yes, ma'am, you sure do.
What can you tell us about road closings in Maryland right now?
As far as Western Maryland is concerned, westbound Interstate 70, which runs through Frederick County from 40 alternate, which is just a mile or two west of Frederick, is shut down all the way up into the Hagerstown area. We have SHA crews from State Highway and also troopers in four-wheel drive vehicles following behind them, and we are checking and making arrangements to get stranded motorists off that stretch of highway and off the other areas of the county roads and interstate highways to get them to shelters that we have set up around the county. And I just received a call from the Cumberland Barrack out in Allegheny County, and I was just advised that Route 68 at LaVale, both east and westbound, is about to be shut down at this time. So the interstates out here are just about almost impassable. State Highway is finding it a very difficult run of events to try to keep the interstates clear.
How do you guys make a decision to close down a section of the interstate?
It's a situation that we were advised by State Highway where their drivers of their vehicles just could not see. They had zero visibility out of their vehicles and becomes too hazardous. So we make the decision to go ahead and shut it down. We have troopers standing by at the shutdown location getting traffic turned around. And then we have our people creeping up the road as best they can to try to find the stranded motorists, so we make sure we don't have any deaths and or injuries related to that.
And just if you could please, Corporal McCauley, repeat the roads that you know that are closed at this hour.
Westbound Interstate 70 in Frederick County from 40 alternate west, and Route 68 in the LaVale, Cumberland area, east and westbound.
All right. Thank you very much,
You're
Corporal.
very welcome.
Corporal Scott McCauley from the Maryland State Police.
That Cumberland area tends to be problematic. Even when the weather's good down here, it can be real bad up there. So I can imagine it's quite a dangerous area to travel through right now. Well, watching some of the other roads around the metro area is Jerry Edwards, Metro Traffic Control. Jerry, I would imagine you're seeing a lot of what Corporal McCauley is seeing.
Pat, good afternoon. Yeah, that is true. The roads around the Washington area, unlike up in Hagerstown, are passable. Crews have been out doing their very best to keep the roadways clean throughout the night and into the early morning hours and into the midday today. Unfortunately, they can't be everywhere at once, and what we're seeing now is that there seems to be a rash of people who have a burning desire to go out on the roads thinking that the party's over. There are several accidents on the Beltway in Prince George's County between the Largo area and up near College Park. There was a tractor trailer that was jackknifed blocking the ramp from from the outer loop to go outbound onto Route 50 in Prince George's County. Bunch of accidents around the College Park area. Pardon me. The day wears on. On the outer loop of the Beltway at the BW Parkway, there had been some problems. So initially this morning, early on, it was Northern Virginia and Montgomery County that seemed to be the real troublesome spots. Now it appears that Prince George's County is jumping in on that as well. In Montgomery County, had a report of some wires down George Avenue just above Pliers Mill Road. We're going to be checking on that. And as you might imagine, a lot of cars that have gone off the roadway and a lot of accidents out there.
All right,
Back
thank
to
you, Jerry. Thank you. Doreen, I spent about 2 hours in a supermarket line yesterday, and I read 3 magazines while I was trying to get what my husband insisted were the emergency supplies needed in our house. A lot of people, though, are still making their way to the supermarkets this afternoon. Safeway now is open, but it's going to be closed at 6 o'clock. So if you've got a Safeway nearby and you need to get there, you've got to get there between now and 6 o'clock. Giant, as we've been reporting, will close a little earlier at 4 o'clock. And right now, Jess Atkinson is at a Giant food store, and I guess he can testify to the fact that people just didn't seem to be prepared for this storm, and they're still out there now trying to get that bottle of water and milk or that loaf of bread. Jess?
It's kind of interesting. We're going to talk to a checkout lady here in a minute, but she says it was absolutely 1,000% crazier yesterday But the people that have come in today have been very desperate indeed. They've been coming in and yesterday they kind of strolled around a little bit, took their time looking at things because they knew they had a day. These people grabbing anything they can get their hands on because it hasn't been around for very long. The guy I'm going to introduce you today to the biggest procrastinator in the city. His name is Tony Steele. Tony decided you pick up a shovel of all days today?
I didn't believe it was going to rain, Jess. I mean, it's snow. I thought it was just going to rain, and even last night I saw the wet snow, and I said, no chance of it. So got this morning, I had to get this out.
and when were you convinced that you were going to need something like this and it was going to snow?
About 8:30 when I called the gym, and they were closed.
How big's your driveway anyway?
Not very big, not very big. It's just right across the street at Bethany.
You know, I'm amazed because, Tony, you're dressed for this whole thing. I mean, you got the camouflage, the duck boots on. You're looking the part, but you forgot the shovel? Have you been watching Bob Ryan all morning?
Yep.
Are you going to watch him all evening?
Of course, yeah.
Now you are, huh? Now there's 12 inches of snow. Yeah. Thanks a lot. A couple other things you want to know about this place. There hasn't been a big run on snow shovels because most people have these. Trashy novels selling like hotcakes all over the place. Things like The First Wives Club. It doesn't look too bad, as a matter of fact. Batteries, toothbrushes, they're all out of them. We're going to talk with, excuse me, ma'am, I'm getting in the way of all your groceries here. I want to talk to Claudette. Claudette, how's it been this morning?
It's been very hectic. Everybody's being real nice about it. They've been buying up all the food we had and bakery.
And how about you? You been grumpy yet?
No, not yet. I'm big grumpy if I don't get out of here and that hail coming the rest of that snow.
You told me a little bit a while ago that you're starting to get sold out of some things?
Yes, we're sold out everything. We don't have anything in the meat department. Produce, the bakery is a total disaster. Everything is gone. It's great.
What would you suggest that I should pick up? Because I don't have a whole lot of time here since you're going to close, what, 4 o'clock, a little over 2 hours?
Get you a lot of juice.
Yeah.
Get you some soup. And whatever else we have over there.
I want something good. I've been seeing all these good books and trashy magazines and all the rest of it.
Yeah, you're going to have plenty of time to watch. Get a lot of magazines. We got a lot of books over there.
Were you prepared for this thing?
No.
So were you picking something up on the way home today?
I picked up some movies yesterday for the snow came. And I'm going to get me some good food. I'm going to get whatever they got left, which would be probably some hamburger or some pork chops, something like that.
This is a nice thing. Al, you want to turn around for just a minute here and show? See, now they're going to start smiling, but just a minute ago, these people had the biggest frowns on their faces because I was holding up the line here. So instead of doing that, I'm going to throw it on back to you guys. Quit holding things up.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, get out of that line.
I was in one of those grocery lines myself yesterday for what seemed like a couple of hours, and if Jess Atkinson had been there holding up my checkout person, I wouldn't have been
frowning too.
Would have been a riot at that grocery store. You know, we are making light of the situation. There are a lot of people out running around doing a lot of crazy last-minute things. We are making light of the storm a little bit, but we want to remind you that this is a very serious snowstorm indeed. It has socked in people up and down the East Coast. It is far from over yet. We still have many more hours to go. We've got trees down, power outages, people stranded, roads are closed. For many people, this is a life-threatening storm, and we are staying on the air with our continuous coverage of this storm as a public service to let people know what is happening outside. And we want to make sure that you understand that. We are getting some phone calls now from people who are missing the ice skating that was scheduled to be on the air here on Channel 4 at this hour, and we're sorry, but we want to let you know that that's why we're staying on the air, because of the serious nature of this storm. Right now, we want to go live to Joe Krebs. One group that is making the best of a bad situation is the church choir called Youth Alive. They came to this area from Baltimore. Right now, they are stranded in a hotel in Gaithersburg, stranded like a whole lot of other people are. Joe Krebs is live with those folks right now. Joe, what can you tell us?
Well, Doreen, first of all, let me give you a quick weather update. The weather has been changing up here. We had snow this morning, then heavy sleet, then we had some more snow, and now we're back in the blowing sleet mode, it seems. But as you mentioned, I'm here at the Holiday Inn in Gaithersburg, where a lot of folks are stranded with no place to go. Actually, I should say they have places to go, they just have no way to get there. And among them is this youth choir from Baltimore. They were in town to attend a big convention of church choirs from all over the D.C. area. Well, that was canceled, and so we've been the beneficiaries here. They're gathered around a piano inside, and let me tell you, this joint is jumping.
This is News 4 at 6 with Pat Lawson News, Tom Curine Weather, and Wally Bruckner Sports.
It blew through just as Bob Ryan predicted, like a freight train, right on schedule. Blizzard conditions wrapped us in a dangerous blanket of white today, and the second wave of the storm is just getting underway. Good evening. I'm Pat Lawson-Muse.
And I'm Doreen Gensler. We have News 4 team coverage on the Storm Watch tonight. First, the latest on what's happening on our roads and streets at this hour. It's a combination of snow and water in a lot of places, and now threatening to turn into ice. This is Massachusetts Avenue, where cars that were plowing through snow this morning were plowing through deep water this afternoon. That is where it was safe to drive. The heavy wet snow downed a number of power lines in the area. At this hour, electricity is still out for about 2,000 Virginia Power customers in Arlington and Alexandria. There are also widespread outages in the Fredericksburg and Woodbridge areas. Pepco reports about 4,800 people without electricity in Maryland and the district at this hour.
Is there ever a let up?
Never, not since last night. It's busy all night, all through this morning.
And that was the situation at Washington grocery stores today. Business was steady to busy all day, but anybody who hadn't shopped by 4 o'clock at Giants or by 6 o'clock at Safeway was out of luck. Weather conditions forced both stores to close early, but they're expecting to reopen in the morning.
News 4's Pat Collins was out on the streets of Washington today. He's joining us live now from the corner of Western and Wisconsin Avenues Northwest. Pat, what's it like out there now?
Right now we're getting what you might call snow drizzle. Take a look at Wisconsin Avenue. Mostly slush, but you can see asphalt. That's good. The problem is this could freeze if it gets colder, and that's bad. Now today we fought this snow, and I think we won, at least so far.
It was big. I wouldn't call it friendly, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. We were ready for this one. Thank you, Bob. This morning, the snow came down with a fury. There was almost whiteout conditions. Then it turned into something you might call snow-leet, and then freezing rain. But it wasn't just the snow that was falling. Trees came tumbling down as well. Big trees, really big trees. And they took things with them, things like power lines.
Make sure you don't touch anything, please. These lines are still hot.
Look at this one on Tennyson Street. 12 years ago, Joanna Pratt moved to this street because of the way the trees arch in the middle. But today, one of those trees turned her Ford Taurus station wagon into a coupe. And she was there to watch.
And you looked out and saw your car, and what went through your mind?
Well, I thought, I can't believe it's happened, you know, although I keep expecting it to happen. And we had a debate as to where to park the car, but we thought this tree was going to fall over here, and
you picked the wrong tree.
The wrong tree.
In a city that has a reputation for not doing well in the snow, today we did our Buffalo best. The plows were out, the salt was down, and on most major roads you could see asphalt all day long. Driving was a problem. Some had to hunt just to find their car under the snow. And once they did, it took some digging and pushing to get them on the road. Ronnie Jacobs got his mom out with some hard work, but he was smiling.
You got her out. Yeah. What's the secret?
Hard work.
Hard work?
Determination. That's all.
You did it.
Yeah.
Just to show you how good we're getting at this snow thing, Andy White and John Pearson got married right in the middle of the storm. And look at all the people who showed up. 10 years ago, you'd have to fly to Vegas to get married on a D.C. snow day.
All right, John and Andy, they're going to remember this day for more reasons than one. Now, we did get through the day. The point now is not to get too overconfident, not to try any daring do. We still got to get through tonight. Back to you now in the studio.
All right, thank you, Pat Collins. Now, News 4's Jack Cloherty is up in Montgomery County. Driving has been pretty treacherous up there all day today. He joins us now with the latest on road conditions. How's it look, Jack?
Not too good, Doreen. We don't have that slush that Pat was showing us in the district. Out here in central Montgomery County, the roads are still pretty hard packed. We were out and about some today, and I can tell you that this blizzard has really paralyzed this part of the county. And those who have been brave or foolish enough to venture out didn't fare so well on those treacherous roads. The snowplows came down I-270 in drill formation this afternoon, but it seemed that no matter how many passes they made, they just couldn't keep up with the heavy sleet and snow.
It's still pretty bad, and the off and on ramps aren't very clear, and they got deep snow on them, and with this sleet on top of them, it doesn't make it any better. It makes getting on and off the interstate hard. Switching from the local lanes to the main lanes extremely hard also.
At times, 270 looked like someplace out of the Siberian steppes today, but there were those who, out of bravado or necessity, braved the blizzard. Too often, this was the result.
Just hit a skid and went into the wall. You know, getting ready to take a turn off the Shady Grove over here, take my mother-in-law to the hospital, and ended up getting into the wall.
So you had a good reason to be out here, huh? What's the problem?
That's a good reason, yeah.
This just shows you this guy has a four-wheel drive vehicle. He had a good reason for being out, but you know, four-wheel drive just isn't the case. You know, with the ice coming down. People think they have four-wheel drive, they could fly, you know, but you can't.
State highway crews have been on the job now since 4 o'clock this afternoon, and there aren't enough men to have another shift. They're working straight through, but they say they'll stay at it as long as the snow keeps falling. There are about 170 snowplows and 170 drivers to cover all of central Montgomery County, so the job today is simply overwhelming. We'll have more on that when we join you back at 7. Pat?
All right, Jack, thank you. You know, we aren't the only ones feeling the effects of this violent storm. The eastern shore is being pelted by snow, ice, and huge waves that are crashing ashore. Wendy Reiger is right in the middle of it. She's at Dewey Beach with this live report. Wendy?
Well, Pat, the worst is over here. To be honest with you, I can't believe that this is the exact same beach I was standing on just a few hours ago. It has gone, obviously, from being beastly to being beautiful. The beach is still here. All the houses are still here. The storm has passed. There's another one heading this way, but they don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as they thought it was. A short while ago, I talked to the mayor and a local resident about their assessment of what passed through.
We believe the worst is over, yes. This morning, we heard that this is a possibility of the worst storm ever. We've never had anything like this, and we were expecting the possibility of a destruction to the property, you know, massive destruction, and you know, really didn't know what to expect. And so the storm, we still have wind coming in this evening, but I feel relieved. I'd say of the last 3 or 4 major storms we've had in the last year and a half, this one was the least as far as property damage and soil erosion.
Are you worried about staying here?
I don't think so. I think from what we've heard, the worst of it is over, and the wind right now seems to be pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm. I just look at the ocean sort of swelling behind you, behind your porch here. It's beautiful, but does it ever seem threatening at all? Did it at all today?
Well, the police came by earlier and they asked us to leave, and we said that we had a bulkhead out front, so we felt pretty secure. And they said, well, they think the bulkhead will go. And if the bulkhead leaves, we'll leave.
Oh.
Wendy Reiger reporting live from Dewey Beach, and she's had quite a day out there, but as she said, the worst appears to be over.
Well, let's find out whether the worst is indeed over for those folks on the eastern shore.
Well, the storm is so big it takes more than one meteorologist to handle it. And both Bob Ryan and Tom Curine are following the storm in the News 4 Weather Center.
Yes, indeed, and have been all day also with everybody who's been up here. It has been a record-breaking storm. We've had our lowest pressure ever recorded here in Washington if your joints are aching. Take a look at the NEXRAD True Doppler, and you can see where, in a way, it's appropriate to call almost the eye of the storm, where Wendy was pointing out the winds are lighter there. But you can see an awful lot of precipitation to our west and our south. That's still to come. And now with our temperatures beginning to fall, we're getting the backlash. This is like the old 1, 2, 3 punch. This is punch number 3. So we're certainly not out of the woods by any means. Tom, call up the amounts of snow so far and look at the amounts of snow.
Right now, our weather watch is reporting over 2 feet of snow in the mountain areas around Catoctin to the west of Hagerstown, up in parts of south central Pennsylvania, and they drop a little bit, but parts of the Shenandoah Valley near 20 inches of snow. Some of our other weather watcher reports around the area, Kenny Burns and Culpeper over 11 inches there. We also have other reports, Barnesville 13 inches in northern Montgomery County, and we'll be detailing more of those for you coming up in a little bit.
It's still going to be snowing for a while. We're still under a blizzard warning, and so we still, I think, could get a couple, 3 more inches, and with falling temperatures. Tom will tell you more about that downstairs.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, we'll have the latest on conditions in Northern Virginia for you coming up in a moment.
And we'll check out the mobs at the grocery stores when our News 4 Storm Watch continues. Stay with us. The violent weather almost took the life of a postal worker this morning. An unidentified mailman was riding in his truck in the 8300 block of Adelphi Road in Adelphi, Maryland. Suddenly, a power line snapped and landed right on top of his truck. The mailman suffered severe burns, and he was taken to Washington Adventist Hospital, where he is being treated this evening.
Now to get an update on road conditions, Mary Ann Reynolds of the Virginia Department of Transportation joins us on the phone. Ms. Reynolds, you all are having some problems with flooding and standing water in Northern Virginia, I understand?
You're right, Doreen. The snow has been like the Energizer Bunny today. It just keeps going and going and going. Currently, we are dealing with standing water on portions of the Beltway, on 95 south of Springfield, and on Route 1 out in Prince William County. That standing water was created when the mid-afternoon rain melted the morning snow and filled the drains, the flood drains and the storm sewers, and they couldn't handle them, and they've backed up onto the road.
And that water, I imagine, threatening to ice up as the night goes on?
It certainly could. So we're trying to unclog the drains so the water can go down, but literally there's no place for the water to go. There's so much. In addition, we're preparing for heavy drifting late tonight and throughout tomorrow. We've already had drifting out in Loudoun County on Route 7 and Route 9, Route 15, Route 50. We think we'll see more of that through the evening and tomorrow.
And your advice for people tonight?
Oh, it's nothing anybody doesn't already know. Cuddle up. Stay home.
All right. You heard it from no less an authority than Mary Ann Reynolds of the Virginia Department of Transportation. Stay home tonight. We have the latest figures for you on power outages from Virginia Power and from Pepco. Right now, about 5,000 customers are without power in D.C. and Maryland, and 2,000 people, we understand, are out in Virginia. If you are without power, or if you want to report downed power lines, these are the numbers for you to call. In Maryland and D.C., call Pepco at 202-833-7500. In Virginia, you should call Virginia Power. That number is 703-934-9660.
Well, the power stayed on most of the day in most area grocery stores, and it was a pretty good thing because the supermarkets were definitely the place to be. News 4's Jess Atkinson takes us down the aisles to show us how folks were stocking up at one area giant food store.
The lines at the Giant Food at 8th and O Streets in Northwest started early and ran throughout the entire day. I don't think the guys at the register got a break all day. This is Norman. How was it? Pretty extraordinary.
It's rough in here.
Did it go all day for you? I mean, was there ever a let up?
Never, not since last night. It's busy all night, all through this morning.
People been getting staples, or people been kind of cheating a little bit?
Cheating a whole lot.
Let's check one out right here. Ken? Yeah. It's nice to meet you. What you got? Now I thought bread and milk were the things that everybody was going to get here. I'm looking at a Reach toothbrush, big old Sara Lee cheesecake.
That's right. I just want to enjoy the evening. I don't really see what the panic is about. It's just a couple of days, and I'll make it.
So you kind of enjoyed this whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm from Missouri. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, where it does this 4 or 5 times a winter.
So what do you think of the Washingtonians and the way we handle this kind of thing?
Panic, mass panic.
Speaking of panic, this guy's boss, how do you think your boss handled things today?
Terrific. John's a good guy.
I'm going to talk to him in a minute. That's what I thought. Next up, the boss. Jim Johnson's the manager of this place. He's been here since 6:30 in the morning. It is now, needless to say, a little bit after 4. They were supposed to close at 4 o'clock, but this to me, John, does not look like a Giant Food that's trying to close its doors at the end of the day.
No, we can't let anybody out here in this blizzard not have any milk and bread to take home.
So you're letting the stragglers kind of come in as they come in?
Yeah, we'll let them in for a while longer. We won't be open till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so.
You're opening tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, right.
We could be at this door all night if you keep this up.
You're absolutely right. Usually we're open all night here on Saturday night.
So why should today be any different? Jess Atkinson in Northwest for News 4.
Rough job being in those grocery stores today.
Yes, as you and I both know.
Yes, as we've been telling you, this powerful snowstorm is not over yet.
And we're going to get the latest on the weather from Tom Curine as our News 4 Storm Watch continues.
Storm system, a low-pressure, powerful storm system that's been affecting everybody from Mobile, Alabama, where it snowed this morning, all the way to Boston now, where they have nearly 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This has been a powerful storm system, and here's how we look tonight. We can be thankful that we don't have the kind of weather Boston's had. This is a live picture, and it's just kind of slushy out there. Mostly, it has the consistency of a vanilla Slurpee, I guess, is what you could call it, or a snow cone gone bad. It is really awful. A lot of standing water, a lot of the storm drains are plugged up, and the rain and some of the melting we had a little bit earlier today has just created a lot of standing water. So please be very careful, and I would suggest you just don't get out and bother driving, because we're going to see it freezing up later on tonight, and then it's going to get nasty. High temperature at National Airport did manage 35. Normally we're 56 this time of year. The low, 31. The record low pressure, 28.58 inches, set an all-time record for us here in Washington. Previous record was way back in March of 1932, and 3 years ago today, it was 87 degrees here on March 13th, 1990. Right now, it's 33, humidity way up, wind out of the northwest now. We've kicked into the cold direction. We're going to continue to see the temperature drop now all over the area. Temperatures falling below freezing. The dew point's at 31, the pressure 28.54. That's 28.54 and rising. All right, let's take a look at some of the snow totals around the area being reported by our weather watchers all over the region, the mountain areas, across the Shenandoah Valley, from near parts of Sperryville, Virginia, up through near Front Royal, the northern Shenandoah Valley, Winchester, 18 inches of snow, 26 inches of snow around Hagerstown, near whiteout conditions from Frederick up through Hagerstown with powerful winds there. With the snow that fell there throughout the day, with the winds kicking it up, has created terrible driving conditions there, and I-70 continues to be closed. 13 inches on the ground up in parts of Howard County. And let's take a look at the watches and warnings that are still out. A huge area, blizzard warnings all the way across New England, stretching right down through us and across West Virginia. They're going to be up through the night. And winter storm warnings out across Jersey and the eastern shore. Let's take a look as we go back in time. First of all, let's take a look at the Doppler radar. Here we are in Washington. A little bit of a break right here to our north, up through parts of Montgomery County into north central Maryland. This is a line of thunderstorms through the eastern shore, and this is all snow off to our west. We're going to likely see this area of snow come through us yet here in Washington before it's all over tonight. As we take a look, going back in time, here we are in Washington. This powerful storm system from 24 hours ago, wrapping up, moving its way up the east coast as it passed over Columbia, South Carolina. It had pressure lower than Hugo. Lower than Hurricane Hugo, and now that's moving up into New England. We're going to begin to see the backlash winds tonight. My forecast overnight tonight, we'll see our temperatures 15 to 20 degrees here with the blizzard warning up and high winds overnight gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour. We could have more tree limbs coming down. During the day tomorrow, we will see more winds, but we'll see some sunshine coming back finally by the afternoon, but extremely windy, 30 to 50 miles per hour, and the temperature upper 20s to near 32 degrees or so. And then as we get into the first part of the week, we're going to finally see the temperature snapping back a little bit and getting to even near normal perhaps by midweek. Another chance of any precipitation will be on Wednesday, and overall pretty settled. We'll have a complete update for you coming up a little bit later on, around 7 o'clock tonight.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
And Wally will have the latest in this day's sporting events when we come back.
Don't buy a new home without New Homes Guide.
I didn't even know those homes were there.
Make the right decision. Call today for your free copy of New Homes Guide.
Overstock clearance sale. Collector's art season is ending, and this Sunday we must sell out over 2,000 beautiful oil paintings at $45 or less. Giant sofa-size oils, $45. Incredible. In addition to these paintings, hundreds of our gallery oils like you see here at unbelievably low prices. Don't miss the incredible savings at our Overstock clearance sale. It's Collector's Art this Sunday only 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Springfield at the Best Western Springfield Inn, in Tyson's Corner at the Holiday Inn, in New Carrollton at the Sheridan, and in Gaithersburg at the Holiday Inn.
When it comes to families, one size doesn't fit all. That's why your minivan specialist has so many choices of caravans at the Dodge Minivan Store. From the luxurious all-wheel drive Grand Caravan to the economical Caravan starting at just over $14,200. One size doesn't fit all, but there's one Caravan to fit you, fit your budget, and the Minivan Specialist has it. Only at your nearest Dodge dealer, the Minivan Store.
It just didn't sound possible. How could a maxi with thousands of holes protect me? It's always with dry weave. But I found out it really works. The dry weave covers the entire top of the pad with all those special little holes that let wetness in and help keep it away. So the surface is cleaner and drier. All those holes, all that protection. I think it's ingenious. Always with dry weave. It's cleaner and drier.
Some guys think there's only one way to get a traditional pure wool suit. Spend a fortune, of course. Even though they could get this pure wool suit made by Kuppenheimer for just $265 every day, they go somewhere else and spend $400.
A fortune, of course.
So, for a beautiful pure wool suit, go to Kuppenheimer or...
Spend a fortune. Of course.
Of course. Kuppenheimer. We make our own suits, so you get more suit for your money every day.
Well, as you might imagine, a lot of cancellations today.
Yeah,
a whole bunch.
We start with the National Hockey League. The Caps and Rangers, they were scheduled for tonight, canceled. No word on a makeup date. Though tickets for tonight's game is going to be honored for the makeup date or can be exchanged for another available game. They will also not be going to New York tomorrow. That Islanders game with the Capitals also postponed. The Bullets were to play in Baltimore tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Forget about it. They have not decided on a makeup date, though early indications are they will try to play the game Monday. It will stay in Baltimore. Tickets will be honored then, or you can exchange those for 4 other dates that the Bullets will make available. Weather caused a 29-minute power outage at the ACC tournament. When the lights returned, Virginia disappeared, and North Carolina goes on to win 74-56. Charlotte Coliseum, first half, Virginia in blue. Cornell Parker with a wild pass. Brian Reese comes up with it for the Tar Heels. He's got a 4-on-2, and Brian Reese takes it himself. Gets the roll to go. Dean Smith, not all that pleased with that selfish play, but his team built a 13-point lead. Doug Smith for the Cavaliers. His pass stolen by Scott Cherry. The spin all the way for the layup. Carolina led by only 5 at halftime, 35-30. Second half, Derek Phelps goes inside. Shot won't go. Junior Burrow pulls in the rebound. Then Junior Burrow goes to Cornell Parker. Cornell Parker in transition to Ted Jeffries. Jeffries for the layup, and Virginia closed to within 2 points. But then the lights went out at the Charlotte Coliseum due to the storm. They had 3 inches of snow at the time in Charlotte. 29 minutes, the delay. It knocked Virginia's momentum out as well, because when the lights came back on, it was all Carolina. George Lynch to Eric Montross for the lay-in. Number 1 North Carolina advances to the ACC Finals. They beat Virginia 74-56. Georgia Tech a winner 69-61. Despite the weather, the conference tournaments continued in the Big East. Syracuse upset St. John's 84-72. The other semifinal, Seton Hall beats Providence 69-60. They play Syracuse in tomorrow's Big East final. Upset of the day in the SEC, number 5 Vanderbilt beaten by LSU by 10. And in the other semifinal, Kentucky goes on to the SEC Finals. They beat Arkansas 92-81. That's sports.
All right. Thank you, Wally.
All righty, Pat.
And thank you. That's our news for now. The NBC Nightly News is coming your way next.
And we'll be back right after that with the News 4 special report on the storm at 7 o'clock. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by Bell Atlantic.
So my son asked me if there'll be any trees left when he grows up. He's thinking about it, just like everybody. Well, working for Georgia Pacific like I do, I can tell him we're doing our part. Planting new trees by the millions, setting aside land, making sure the forest will always be here, for everybody. I can't speak for other companies out there, but at Georgia Pacific, we're doing what needs to be done.
Hey, want to taste a couple of beers?
Sure, you bet.
So which do you prefer?
This one. That's a beer.
Here's Budweiser, and this is Coors Extra Gold.
Oh, whoa!
What if I told you Coors Extra Gold was brewed far longer than Bud?
I had no idea.
70% longer.
I guess there's surprises all the time.
Slow brewed for that real beer flavor and color, the way beer was meant to be, which may be why 58% of Bud drinkers prefer Coors Extra Gold.
Be 90%.
Coors Extra Gold. If you're missing real taste, beer is back.
Incredible! These are awesome facts.
Preview vacation bargains Sunday at midnight on Channel 4.
Tornadoes in Florida. Heavy snow up the East Coast. A powerful winter storm stretching to Canada.
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrett Utley.
Good evening. It stretches for 2,100 miles from the Gulf of Mexico to New England. It's caused at least 15 deaths. Technically, it is not a hurricane, but in some areas you wouldn't know the difference. Torrential rains, heavy snow, high tides, and devastating winds. That is what is hitting the East Coast this evening. We begin our reports with Linda Vester.
Most of the deaths came in Florida. Some 50 tornadoes touched down. This mobile home park in Orlando was devastated. 21 counties were declared federal disaster areas. Flooding forced evacuations and destroyed property.
I thought of about 15 years of enjoyment that suddenly went straight down. A lot of good memories. They're gone now.
In Birmingham, Alabama, it's being called the worst storm on record. 2 feet of snow. And a man found frozen to death at a bus stop. Downed power lines cut electricity to more than 300,000 people. In Georgia, the governor declared a state of emergency.
Hit a curb. Can't see it in the snow.
Snow reached a foot in some parts. Visibility was close to 0, and the National Guard was called out. In Delaware, waves forced a coastal town to evacuate and threatened to erode beaches. In Tennessee, 1.5 feet of snow. This hasn't happened in a decade, and police say they've given up trying to count the number of stranded motorists.
I have a 22-car pileup out here on the bridge.
West Virginia got pounded with 2 feet of snow.
They say there's rain, there's snow, there's sleet, all that stuff, but you know, it's pretty bad out there today.
And the nation's capital, which unravels at the slightest winter disturbance, came to a virtual standstill. All major airports closed or canceled flights, leaving tourists stranded.
The worst of the storm is on its way north now, but strong winds, rain, and blinding snow are expected to continue in the southeast tonight. People may have to wait until tomorrow to make a better assessment of just what damage has been done. Linda Vester, NBC News, Washington.
And now to Fred Briggs in the nearly deserted streets of Midtown Manhattan, where the center of the storm is expected to hit later tonight. Fred?
Garrick, the northeastern part of this storm began before dawn, while the center of the storm was still well over the southeast. It has closed roads, airports, and virtually emptied city streets. The coastal towns like Seabright, New Jersey are losing some of that coast to high winds and high tides for the second time in 3 months. Many towns hadn't recovered from December's nor'easter. For New York, what may be the biggest blizzard of the 20th century brought to mind the biggest of the 19th century, 105 years ago today. The blizzard of 1888 caused 600 deaths, sank ships in the harbor, and derailed elevated trains. Cities handled storms better now. For a while this morning, planes were still taking off at Kennedy Airport.
We have roughly 200 personnel, 65 pieces of equipment, trying to keep up with the snow.
It wasn't enough. All New York airports were closed by noon. As the storm's leading edge moved into New England, 35-mile-an-hour winds drifted snow over Interstate 95 in Connecticut and Rhode Island. There were accidents.
I think it's time that people realize that it's time to be home and not out on the road. It's very serious.
From Long Island to Rhode Island, the tides are much higher than in the southeast. That means a higher potential for damage and beach erosion. And in Boston, where the worst of the storm isn't expected until after midnight, it was time to stock up. Past storms have meant days without power or heat, supermarkets without power.
Bought some batteries just to be sure, bought some water just to be sure again.
The brunt of the storm will hit Maine tomorrow. Police and firemen in coastal cities advise people to move inland.
Okay, yeah, I'm packing all my things.
Okay,
There's a big truck coming.
Yeah.
So I'll be out here soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
As for New York, the snow has changed to rain, and there's very little bit of that. But the center of the storm is still moving this way, Garrick.
Let's turn now to the political storm in Russia. In Moscow, the president, the parliament, and power. The struggle reached a new level this day.
Did it again tonight to try to keep up with this storm. We rode with the crew earlier today. Kevin Bowie has been working since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. He's been plowing and dropping cinders on the road since before dawn. He hasn't slept, but he's back for another load. More than 170 sand trucks and snowplows like this one have been moving in and out of the State Highway Administration facility here in Gaithersburg all day today. But the fact is, they just can't keep up with all of this snow. Despite the efforts of the state maintenance crews, driving conditions became worse as the day wore on, as sleet covered the packed snow.
The roads are still very treacherous, and they seem to be getting worse. The snowplows are out there plowing the roads off, leaving 1 inch to 2 inches of snow, and this sleet that is currently falling is landing on top of it, packing it down, and making it like an ice rink.
This driver was trying to get his mother-in-law to the hospital, but he spun out.
Just hit a skid and went into the wall. You know, getting ready to take a turn off the Shady Grove over here.
This just shows you this guy has a four-wheel drive vehicle. He had a good reason for being out, but four-wheel drive just isn't the case. With the ice coming in. People think they have four-wheel drive, they could fly, you know, but you can't.
The road crews say they will stay at it and stay on the job with or without sleep.
These are the same men that's doing it all. Straight through, no stop, until we finish.
That could be a while.
Well, I look for Monday morning myself. I'm not a weatherman, but I'll say it'll be Monday morning before we get away from here.
Obviously, we hope he's wrong, but it's coming down hard here again in Montgomery County. Bob and Doreen?
And you're worried about what road conditions are going to be like as this night goes on.
Not only the snow, Jack, but the temperatures are falling, and I think by later on tonight, temperatures will be in the teens and low 20s. How will that be affecting the road crews getting on top of this storm?
Well, earlier today, they said they were just plowing, but late this afternoon, they started putting down cinders and sand. So they're going to be trying to do that. But, you know, we've had hard snow out here and some sleet all day. We didn't get any of that rain or freezing rain. So I think it's going to be tough. The roads out here are very bad. Okay, Jack, and while you're there, before you go away in the snow, remember, 3 years ago, Jack, it was 87 degrees on this date.
Thanks, Bob.
Bring it back.
We ought to look at some tape of that day. All right. As Bob mentioned, the entire East Coast is being hammered by this storm tonight. Reporter Steve Dawson has more on that.
Good evening, Doreen. You know, I've heard this storm called everything from a killer storm to the mother of all storms to a white hurricane to a monster storm. Any one of those descriptions would fit tonight. It is the worst winter weather system we've seen since the blizzard of 1888, which dumped 5 feet of snow up here. Its legacy of snow is going to be measured in feet rather than inches, and there will be more than a few deaths. They are calling this a killer storm, the monster storm, a white hurricane, the mother of all storms. Pick one. Any one of them is suitable. This storm is the worst winter weather system we've had in the Northeast since the blizzard of 1888, which dumped 5 feet of snow. It has paralyzed virtually half of the country. Its legacy will be snow measured in feet, not inches, and more than a few number of people dead. To give you an idea of the size of the storm, at 2 o'clock this morning in New Jersey and New York, when it had just started snowing, the center of the storm was moving over Florida, spinning off tornadoes, 15 of them. 10 people, we understand now, have died in Florida, and President Clinton has declared 21 Florida counties as eligible for federal emergency disaster funds. As the storm moved north, airports closed, all the way from Atlanta to Boston's Logan. Connecticut Governor Lowell Weicker Jr. was the first to declare his state in a state of emergency and to mobilize the National Guard there to help. There have been evacuations all along the barrier islands from New Jersey to Key West. Transportation in New York City now is down in most places. There are tremendous delays for the lines that are open on the subways and the commuter trains, and things are pretty much coming to a standstill.
All right, that was Steve Dawson reporting from New York City. We'll have more of this News 4 Storm special when we come back.
Stay with us.
For many, the search for the world's greatest tuna sandwich ends when they discover Subway's Tuna Sub right here at Subway. One taste of the combination of our famous fresh-baked bread, chunk-laid tuna, and any or all of our famous fresh-fixed fixins, and it'll hit you too. This sandwich is worthy of the title World's Greatest. And now it's an even bigger deal with a special $1.89 price. So come get hooked on the sandwich that's a tuna fish wish come true.
The 6-inch Tuna Sub, $1.89 for a limited time at Subway.
Watch this.
You're going around a turn. Suddenly your engine is racing like crazy, but you're hardly moving. Then thump, your transmission catches. Big trouble? Not always. AMCO's trained mechanics will check your transmission like nobody's business. They have the experience to find the small problem that acts like a big one. Truth is, half the cars serviced by AMCO don't need a new transmission. If your transmission's slipping, go to AMCO. AAMCO.
Hey, this is one neat-looking white sofa, Kath. Is it on sale?
You don't have to ask, Rick.
I don't?
Now through Wednesday at the Hub Furniture Centers, everything is on sale. So you don't have to ask about this $699 sofa. It's $398.
And I don't have to ask if this bed wall's on sale?
Right, it's reduced to $998.
And I needn't inquire about this black and cherry dining room.
Save $300.
And these tables, I suppose, are some ridiculous figure.
How's half price?
Surely in a Hub store this size, I can find something that's not on sale.
Of course you will. Me.
Oh, when do you get marked down?
Never.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a...
We want to check conditions in the city tonight. Pat Collins joins us now live from Northwest D.C. with the latest. Pat, how's it look out there?
Well, Doreen, the wind is picked up, the snow is picked up, the temperatures are dropping, the slush on the street looks like it's beginning to freeze. But you know something? I think our city has finally learned how to deal with this snow business. Snow trucks, snow shovels, snowmen, snow. In Washington, it's always been one of those four-letter words. People from the great north would laugh at the way we handled it. But today, we were the ones smiling. For the most part, we survived this one pretty well. Okay, it wasn't a work day, but we're gonna call it a win anyhow. The plows and salt trucks kept the big roads open. The tow trucks got the cars off the emergency routes. They did such a good job, the mayor gave them ribbons at the end of the day. And people, all the people seemed to pitch in to clean things up. Some pitched a little harder than others. Now, how come she is shoveling the walk and you're standing here watching?
Well, somebody has to direct her, you know.
You're the supervisor on this job?
This is the supervisor. That's right. I put the whole family on the job.
We saw snowmen and snow women, and yes, even a snow dinosaur. Meet now Mary Chapman. She's from Shreveport, Louisiana, and she's never seen this much snow before. And this is her first snowman.
It is my first snowman.
Not bad.
Well, he needs some help. He needs a lot of help. But I think some of my friends will help me, hopefully.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm thrilled.
Now, we were not without some problems. Some big trees fell and some power lines cracked, but workers were out doing their best to try to put things back together again. Now, let me take you to Battery Kimball Park. It's not Aspen, but you don't need a plane ticket to get here either.
1, 2, 3.
All right, there you go, a little Winter Olympics right in our hometown. Again, it's starting to get windier, it's starting to get colder, the slush is starting to freeze. We're not out of this one yet. Doreen?
No, we are not. Thank you, Pat Collins, live in Northwest D.C. The weather has messed up travel plans for thousands of people. Lots of folks are stuck because flights have been canceled at National and Dulles airports. National closed at 8 this morning. Dulles shut down around 9:30. Julie Carey caught up with some stranded passengers who were trying to get to Bermuda.
We flew in from North Dakota to get away from that kind of weather to head Bermuda, and we end up in this kind of weather, so it's like we never left home.
You're getting robbed of a couple of days of vacation.
You're not kidding, robbed. I'm going to tell my boss I'm not coming back till next Tuesday instead of Monday since I'm already losing a day.
Wonder if the boss will buy that one. The airports will remain closed for the rest of the evening to give workers a chance to clear the runways. BWI is closed down too. It is possible the airports will reopen tomorrow morning. If you have travel plans, you need to call ahead to the airlines to see if your flight is running. What do you think about that, Bob?
Well, I think it'll be probably the middle part of the day before they can really get on top of things because, again, I'm expecting 2-4 inches more snow, and with blowing, it'll take a while. And then the temperatures in the 20s and these high winds are going to slow everything down. They'll be, by midday tomorrow, things should be improving a bit, though, but it's going to be slow going for some time.
Call ahead.
Call ahead.
Amtrak is still running.
Used to snow. Things have really gotten pretty bad. On the phone with us now is news anchor
anchor Gene Mackin from TV station WYVN in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Gene, your big problem there tonight is that people are stranded, literally, in cars and in their homes?
Yes, good evening, Pat. As you know, the Eastern Panhandle region is laced with interstates. And while the truck drivers steered clear of Interstate 81 and Interstate 70, the civilian motorists, if you will, did not. At this hour, there are a minimum of 120 cars stranded along the interstate, many of them with passengers. Rescue personnel are trying to get to the ones with children in them first, but they're very frustrated, and they simply say some motorists are going to have to wait it out.
Now, are they able to get food or blankets to the people who are going to have to sit there and wait through the night?
As far as I've heard, they're having trouble deciphering what is a car and what is a snowdrift. And the best they can do, as soon as these people are rescued, they're brought to one of dozens of rescue shelters that have been set up around the region for travelers who tried to brave the storm and couldn't quite make it.
All right, thank you, Gene Mackin from WYVN in Martinsburg, West Virginia. What a situation there. It's going to be an awfully cold night to spend in a car.
It is, and in addition to that, the powerful winds causing that snow to drift, which is no doubt what has been causing the problems there. Many of the back roads are simply shut down in Loudoun County, Fauquier County, and certainly the mountains to our west, Upper Frederick County, Washington County in Maryland. All the back roads drifting shut with the powerful winds that continue to whip around. All right, let's take a look. This is a live picture now. This is around Gaithersburg, and yes, the snow continues to come down, and it's not over yet. As you can see, we've had another dusting of 2 to 3 inches there on the ground after what we had earlier today. National Airport's high temperature was 35 degrees. Normally we're 56, the low 26. All-time record low pressure today, 28.54 inches here at National Airport. The previous record, 28.67 inches, set way back in March of 1932. Now National's reporting our low for the day, 26. That combined with the wind out of the northwest makes it feel like 4 below zero. That's the wind chill humidity at 85%. And finally, that pressure is coming back up, 28.79 inches. Take a look at some of the snow totals. We've had reports, late reports now, and we could add another inch or so on to some of these snow totals. 23 inches on the ground in western Fauquier County and upper on Martinsburg, 18 to 20 inches on the ground, but you have the wind gusting, causing 3 and 4 foot drifts. Montgomery County around Potomac, 13 inches. Upper Montgomery County, 18 inches. Loudoun County, Leesburg, 13 inches. 9 inches in Annandale. National's officially at 6 inches. 8 inches in Bowie over in Prince George's County. All right, let's take a look. As we go back in time, I can show you the radar and time lapse. You can see this great whirlpool of massive energy coming up the East Coast. Look at these radar echoes stretching all the way from New England to the central Midwest and then down the East Coast. Snowed in Mobile, snowed in Columbia. Now, Columbia, South Carolina had a record low pressure. It was lower than when Hurricane Hugo went over. Let's take a look at the Doppler radar now in greater detail. Here we are in Washington, and this area of green and dark blue is another band of snow. This is all passing off to the northeast. Some other areas of snow from Fredericksburg down to Richmond now passing off to the east-northeast. Behind that are going to be the strong winds. Let's take a look at the temperatures. 20s all the way down into the Gulf Coast, below freezing. That's what's causing our problems here now. All that slush and water we had on the streets earlier this afternoon, freezing up solid tonight. Let's go back in time, show you the view from space, and watch this tremendous event in nature taking shape. 24 hours ago, here it was coming across Georgia, moving right up the Piedmont, right over us, and now the low center sitting right about through central New Jersey at this hour. That low pressure center, the powerful low pressure center, is going to continue its track to the north, up across northern New England and dumping a couple of feet of snow on those folks, and then moving up into Canada. Behind that, the strong cold winds will be coming in. Our forecast overnight tonight, we'll see these temperatures 15 to 20 degrees by dawn with powerful winds and more snow, and then it should be ending during the day tomorrow, the snow ending, but we're going to be dealing with strong winds, northwesterly 30 to 50 miles per hour, and temperatures below freezing all day. My 7-day outlook, we'll see Monday recovering and seemingly pretty nice after what we've had, but this snow's not going to go away for a couple of days. It'll be in the 40s on Monday and Tuesday with some sunshine finally coming back. We'll see a little sun late tomorrow, maybe some rain on Wednesday.
It's going to be a night when the heat pumps are working overtime.
That's right.
Remember to clear the snow from them, or you might blow your compressor.
Okay.
Just about every event that was supposed to happen today was canceled, and it looks like that's going to be the case tomorrow. Here's WTOP's Jerry Fidel with a list of cancellations. Jerry?
Well, Pat, this has been quite a night. Very busy at the WTOP Computerized Cancellation Center.
One thing that's happened, that's never happened before apparently, the archbishops of Washington and Baltimore have agreed to release Catholics from their obligation to go to Mass tomorrow because of the bad weather. You might say heaven can wait. Some of the other cancellations, Southeastern University has canceled all classes tomorrow. Prince George's Community College has canceled all Sunday events. University of Maryland is canceling its University College classes. Montgomery College is canceling its classes and activities. All Montgomery County public schools will be closed for any activities tomorrow. Northern Virginia Community College, all Sunday activities are canceled. Yeshiva of Greater Washington is closed tomorrow. Many closings, many houses of worship, many schools and other functions. You're well advised to call ahead on anything that's scheduled for tomorrow.
Thank you, Jerry. And News 4 Storm Watch coverage will continue right after this.
1, 2, 3.
Dear Midas customers, now save 25% on brake shoes or pads, guaranteed for as long as you own your car. And we'll fix the brakes on most cars the same day you call. That's the Midas way, the way it should be.
In a car accident, most adults believe they can keep a child from going through the windshield. But in a 30-mile-an-hour collision, a 30-pound child accelerates toward the windshield with the force of a 450-pound child. Try keeping that baby in your lap. Which is why Geico makes child safety seats available to its customers at cost. Geico, we have only one policy, safety.
The blackened coil unwinds. In the darkness, nighthawks climb. As shadows creep, here we lie, in perfect sleep. Serta, we make the world's best mattress.
Well, most sporting events were canceled today, but not all of them.
Caps and Bullets, they were victims of the snow. Their games are going to be made up at a date still to be announced. The Orioles were also postponed. Their game down in the Grapefruit League with Texas was rained out. Weather caused a 29-minute power outage at the ACC tournament, but it did not dim the hopes of Georgia Tech or North Carolina. They will play tomorrow for the ACC title. Georgia Tech beat Clemson. The top-ranked Tar Heels handled Virginia 74-56. That's where we begin tonight at the Charlotte Coliseum. First half, Virginia in blue. Doug Smith for the Cavaliers has his pass stolen by Scott Cherry. Scott Cherry with the spin, and then he takes it all the way for the layup. Carolina led by 5 at the half, 35-30. Second half, Derek Phelps goes inside. The shot won't go. Junior Burrow finally pulls in the rebound. He gives to Cornell Parker. Parker in transition now to Ted Jeffries. Jeffries under control for the layup, and suddenly Virginia was in it. They had closed to within 2 points. The lights went out, and then Virginia never got back in it. North Carolina works it inside. George Lynch to big Eric Montross for the lay-in. Number 1, North Carolina advances to the finals. They beat Virginia. The final was 74-56. Now North Carolina will take on Georgia Tech. You see in the nightcap, Georgia Tech were winners over Clemson. Off the Clemson miss, it is Malcolm Mackey underneath for Georgia Tech who rejects. Tech on the break. Brian Hill, he misses the layup, but Martise Moore is there for the follow. Georgia Tech a winner down in Clemson, 69-61. Finals are also set in the SEC and the Big East, though the Big East showdown could produce a champion unable to go to the NCAA tournament. That's Syracuse. We're at Madison Square Garden. It was raining inside Madison Square Garden as you see the water come down. That caused a delay in the Big East tournament, but officials said, though, it was not from the storm. It was from an air conditioning duct. St. John's in white. Sergio Luke pass knocked away. Syracuse goes ahead. Adrian Autry for the layup. Syracuse with the upset of St. John's 84-72. Now in the other Big East semifinal, Providence College in the dark jerseys. Abdul Abdullah drives, throws it away. Back comes Seton Hall. Brian Caver, the alley-oop to Terry DeHare. He misses, but Caver is there to tip it in. Seton Hall a winner over Providence 69-60. They play Syracuse in tomorrow's Big East Finals. Now the upset of the day occurred in the SEC tournament. Number 5, Vanderbilt in white. Billy McCaffrey throws the basketball away. LSU's Jamie Brandon all the way for the jam. Brandon had 20 points. LSU upsets Vanderbilt 72-62. The other semifinal, Arkansas in white. Robert Shepard gets away with a walk in the miss. Gerard Prickett rebounds for Kentucky to Travis Ford, to Jamal Mashburn, behind the back to Rodney Dent for the jam. Kentucky goes on to the SEC Finals. They beat Arkansas 92-66. to 81. World Figure Skating Championships. You watched them right here on Channel 4 tonight. The U.S. suffered its worst showing, almost 30 years. The highest woman, Nancy Kerrigan, she placed 5th. Mark Mitchell, he ended 4th. First time since 1966, U.S. doesn't come away with a medal.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you. That's our news tonight. Our coverage begins again tomorrow morning at 6 on News 4 Today, and we'll have continuous coverage throughout the day as conditions warrant. Until then, have a good night.
For over 80 years, Paramount has taken you on a roller coaster of action, adventure, and entertainment. Now, Paramount is about to take you beyond the limits of the motion picture screen to the next generation of excitement, where the magic of the movies meets the thrills of a lifetime. Get ready for Paramount's King's Dominion, opening March 27th.
So my son asked me if there'll be any trees left when he grows up. He's thinking about it, just like everybody. Well, working for Georgia Pacific like I do, I can tell him we're doing our part. Planting new trees by the millions, setting aside land, making sure the forest will always be here, for everybody. I can't speak for other companies out there, but at Georgia Pacific, we're doing what needs to be done.
The event you're about to witness will truly amaze you. The Gordons were out driving when they encountered
Bill, get the camcorder.
amazing savings, where they found a roomy Mazda Protege, now with $1,000 cash back plus air or automatic, for a total savings of up to $1,840. During amazing savings at your Mazda dealer, now, where amazing value can easily happen to you.
At Ted Britt, College Park, Browns, Fairfax, Lamar, Sloan, and Rosenthal Mazda now.
They call it March Madness on the Sports Machine.